Hey guys, Frank here from the D20 Misfits. Today is a thing that we were supposed to do last week, but change of events happened. So what we are doing is we're going to do a deep lore onto what happened between, with the campaign 1 to where we were at with episode 91, I believe. 91, 92 are our last two episodes. And do the lore back to campaign 1 of what happened to everything. So from there, that's what we're going to go for and do that. So sit back, relax, grab your drink, and enjoy us for this little talk show of, we like to call Talking Shade, but it is a Tales of Shadow. So see you guys in a little bit. And welcome back. So before we jump into our talk show with everybody, and I'll go ahead and flip the screen around so that you can see everybody here. So today we have Porkchop, who played Porkchop back in campaign 1. We have Shy, who played Tristana and Raina. Go back and forth.
Oh god, I played 3 characters.
Yes, but we're only going to mainly worry about the 2. Timber, who played Henshin, which was Porkchop's half brother.
Evil stepbrother.
Half-brother,
That's the evil stepbrother right there.
However,
What are you doing, Step Henshin?
John unfortunately can't be here today because he's in the process of moving. Same with Arian. Arian's is a little sick, so she decided not to come today.
I also didn't play anybody in the first campaigns.
We do have Andy joining us, just so he can get some of the lore of what happened with campaign 1.
I'm here with you guys,
as it were. So before we jump into it, we thank our sponsors and everything for that. So we have, people that we are ambassadors to, like Dubby. Dubby Energy Drink.
Drink Dubby.
Be the W.
Game Vault.
Smell the Dubby. Remember that.
Reaper Apparel.
Won't smell the W.
Sleeve.
Dranger Arts.
Dranger Arts. Prologues. If you guys haven't seen the stuff from Dranger Arts, which is John's little side projects. If you look at our first video on YouTube, that snow area, John literally made it, built it all. I gave him some of the materials for it.
Yeah.
I gave him most of the materials for it, and I had it started. He shaped it. He shaped it and went there.
He took it and ran with it.
I had it all set up. He painted it and put all the effects into it.
I remember
It's really cool and nice to have it.
You and me pictures every other day.
We do have a new one.
Ooh.
That I want to give a shout out to. Let me just goddamn find it because I was talking.
Let's see if we forgot one in that list.
You should have seen a foul.
Who?
Our good friends over at Critical Dice.
Critical Dice. Well, we're not ambassadors
I
to
know.
them.
We just like them.
We just get their subscription to it.
We're friends.
Or at least I am.
We're like
Which, by, contents included. I don't know what the fuck I did with
This is that drink thing.
it. No, I had a red box.
Did you leave it out in the car?
No, because I had it literally here.
Oh, Jesus
Oh, hey.
Christ.
Ta-da! Yep, I found it. I found it. So I do have
What was that?
Critical Dice here. This is January's. I'm just not showing it off because I'll show it off
Next week.
next week.
Who are you roll dice
That way you guys
What?
can
We can't get a preview?
dice for it. Okay, you can get a preview. So one of the stickers, Jesus saves, everybody else takes half damage.
Nice.
That is fucking hilarious.
Jesus must
How
be
have
a
you not
road.
seen-
He must be a road.
This January is all about the multiverse, which is weird as fuck because they stayed on one thing. So, the Bifrost.
Oh, I like that.
These are the Bifrost dice.
I'm going for this.
I'm rolling down this.
Then you have Midgard.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Roll
Which
for
is
a
yellow
minute.
and orange ordeal. This one I know somebody wants to grab off the top because they are rainbows.
There's 2 people.
They are rainbow dice.
Oh my god, I'm
So
gonna
he
go
has
for
enough
all
rainbow
of them.
dice. Fuck her.
Oh, see.
But-
I see. There's a cool stuff.
I just don't want the dice to go
Don't tell her.
Yeah.
super crazy.
Surprise her.
That ain't gonna work.
What are you doing?
Let's turn the light on.
No, it's not
Right.
I
Like I
told
said,
you.
we'll show it more there. Like
I was trying to be helpful.
Roll your off.
I get it. I understand. Thank you.
I will send you to Jesus.
Like-
Just shoot in my face.
For instance, that's what I mean is they are all rainbow style. That's the critical dice box that we will be raffling off to the players next week. So that's just a preview for
Prepare
that.
your dice roll. Just like train it with like the montage music.
That's the best.
I was just throwing fucking D20s.
Jay Rue just pops up out of nowhere. Someone play my music?
So on top of that,
Flag.
one of our subscribers reached out to me
Ooh.
and said, "Hey, I want to make you something." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I collabed with this person, and lo and behold,
Yeah.
Shy's already seen it.
Heck yeah, I did.
Oh!
And I already want one. I'm already lining up money for it.
Oh.
So
Nice.
this is a D20 Misfits tumbler. I'll show you guys to there. So D20 Misfits
What?
has our name on it. You can see I can't do this shit backwards.
It's
There. On the back end of this is the class.
I like it so,
So
much.
me being the paladin that I am. There. I've already talked to this person and she's already agreeing with if you guys want your own personal D20 Misfits tumbler.
I think that might be
Um,
a good idea.
Best way, like we were thinking about it, is we all have this at the table instead of our other drinks that we have to rip stuff off of. We can just put it directly in here.
Yep.
I like
You
that
have a
idea.
horn which fits you, but this is our new one. This is
Just
by
Can I get one in pink?
yeah.
For something cotton candy colored.
You can definitely yes.
All right. All right.
So for you guys at home, or for you guys, for the players, if you guys want to do it, just hit me up with what you guys want. If you guys want to include pictures and stuff like that and send it to me, I will send it to this person. These tumblers, she is selling them for $20.
Oh.
They are 22 ounces. They have a nice rubber sole on the bottom, so you can't literally.
You have to flip the table to actually
Yeah.
knock it off.
Like I try slotting it and it won't fucking slot.
If I roll
Okay.
more than
Um,
2D1, you're gonna have 2 1s. I might flip it up.
it does come with the metal straw and the brush to clean it.
Oh wow.
It is not, however, dishwasher safe.
Cool.
But the design
Dishwasher.
definitely have the D20 Misfits logo on it, your name, and then if you want your class on the back, that's more than we can make that happen. I did it all black just because it was like that, but she can do different backgrounds for it.
I love you keep doing this to it. It's
But-
wonderful.
Just a shout out to it. Again, I'll show you guys a little bit more
Thank you.
of
Thank you, person.
the thing. So, and then the back of this, as I try to
Drop it all over his laptop.
drop it all over my beautiful computer here.
Good night, guys. The lost were supposed to stay lost.
This item here is made by Pumpkins Tea and Tumblers. Retails for $20. You guys can find them on Facebook. Yeah, it's Pumpkins Tea and Tumblers. We'll put the description down in the box for you guys, or a link to the Facebook page. You can message them, and you guys can talk shop and see what you want. Same with all you guys there too.
Get some D20.
I really like their tumblers. You can definitely get the D20 Misfits logo on
Get
it.
some D20
because-
Misfits swag for you guys.
So some
Yeah.
merch there, absolutely, that can happen. And go from there. I do have her working on a side project with me right now that can potentially turn out to a really big income, and that's partnering up with Dragon Thrones to make tumblers for them.
Nice.
I already have 3 set for manufacturing, all different styles. 2 for the main guys that run it, and a 1 for me. And a whole 1 for me. I do have a preview because you did send me it, but like the background for Dragon Thrones, my character was Grievous. I was dubbed Grievous the Mighty by the Golden Dragon as being the first paladin. This is what she already started, but she wanted to put dragon scales on the back.
Nice.
Nice. I dig it.
That's sick.
So that's just
Should we call it Dragon Bucks?
so there. But it's definitely going to be our. That's for Dragon Thrones out there. But you can definitely check them
Yeah,
out.
it comes by scale mail.
Pumpkins tees and tumblers on Facebook. You guys want your own personal one? You
Tees
guys-
as in like t-shirts? Or like
I'm
T-A?
gonna assume
As in
t-shirts.
T. He like
It's pumpkins, apostrophe S, then capital T S or T lowercase s, and symbol and tumblers on Facebook. For those who do know, so most of us know this person. This is Sandy. Sandy makes these. So yes, this is something that could really turn into a really cool thing. I really enjoy it. I like it. It is, like I said, it's a 22-ounce thing. It's cool. It does keep shit cold. Like, it is a good tumbler. I really do like it.
I've been using my car.
I've been using it every goddamn day.
yeah.
So
That's what I want.
Anything else?
Sandy, this is amazing. I love it. You'll get some stuff from the D20 Misfits.
I'm looking
Yeah,
right
right
now,
too.
Sandy.
I'll
But
do it
yeah.
afterwards.
I was just talking to her.
Guys want to, you guys do that, or you guys can message me with clip art, or you can talk to her directly there.
Oh, I'm getting a blood splatter to hell and back.
I'm just
You
gonna
can
stick
definitely
with
get the D20 Misfits logo on.
angry attack goblin without the E and angry.
But you're not.
Well,
I am always an angry attack goblin. I'm
Not no more.
shit that's angry.
all right.
You're not-
Well,
Personally.
you're not
Anywho,
angry.
Anyway, we're getting off track here.
So
You're off track.
that's it for our sponsor. We do want to get a shout out. We are going to add in a during our commercial break that we usually do. We're adding in the new commercial for Sandy and the Pumpkins tea and tumblers. I like them. I love it. I don't know about the T-shirt thing. I never really looked at it. But the tumbler one's what she approached for.
Big.
And literally, $20 for a tumbler like this
It's not bad.
to have it fully customized to your preference is amazing.
that's an amazing deal.
Yeah.
If you guys do want to like fully inspect it a little closer, you guys can pass it. You guys can pass it around.
Dude, this thing's heavy as hell.
Well, it has liquid in it,
It's not got enough in it. That thing's awesome.
but you guys can get a full look at it. I know the kind of lighting kind of gives it a sheen to it, but it's burned on there.
Nice.
So I don't know the full process because it doesn't feel like a wrap
I know.
because
Yeah.
there's no seams, so it doesn't feel like a wrap.
Yeah, that's why I was
It's
like,
literally burned onto this tumbler. So that's why like it's not so much dishwasher safe.
that's cool, so.
You hand wash it and stuff like that. It is cool. Like that rubber sole is amazing fucking good on there.
Dude, that has got some weight to it, even with the
Yeah.
drink in it.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said, it fits nice.
Go
Like for car rides, it fits in the
I like
quarters nice and snug.
Little Eddie tried to slide.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
It doesn't slide.
It was like,
It was
Like I literally love
We
this.
about dumped it on the table.
I literally like we all like this, so I can't thank enough.
yeah, that's sick.
Like I said, I have 3 more that's getting commissioned for that. That's for Dragon Thrones to kind of get on that roll side. And if they all like it, we're making her a lot of
I'll be having 2 cups because I'll have one for them and one for you.
I might commission them for my D&D group.
whatever you guys want to do. I
I
mean,
may need to go
that's
home
just we
soon
want
because,
to get like
reasons. No,
Just- she did this. Like I said, she talked to our editor about this because they're more friends, that way, and then they talked to me, and she showed me this, and
That's
I was like,
because
God damn.
Valkyrie has high persuasion.
When I first saw it, she had it on, she printed it out, and then she wrapped it on the tumbler kind of there, and I was like, that looks sick as shit. It's like, okay, cool, done deal, it's gonna happen. It's like, okay, $20. Can't beat it.
Sandy, Miss Pumpkins, I know you're gonna see my message before you see this episode, but I messaged you already.
So yeah, we are gonna put that in the commercial. We'll put a link to the Facebook thing down in the description below. So cool with that. Now, for the time of the talk show.
Yay.
The tales of the deep lore that we are going to unfold for everybody.
Lost can't pick.
So
The
we'll see you
lost
here in
lore of the
just a
D20
minute.
Misfits.
Camera. Ready. Action.
Welcome back, guys. So, talk show time, right? We all ready for this? Because I'm sure as hell not.
Or out the very
So-
so,
This is based off episode 91 when we were at when we destroyed the Abenexus. We went back to the Citadel, the tower,
Yeah, and we had
the Lonely Tower,
Yeah. We had a Abbott Costello moment.
and then we had a little bit of a deep lore of Sat going more into why he looks the way he does, the changing of oaths from Sat to with Sat and Amari both changing their oaths.
which that was really fucking cool.
You're right.
Has some more lore to kind of nullify the tension that was all going down. So a lot of stuff is there. 'Cause we were planning on filming campaign 1, but we didn't end up doing it just because of location, equipment. I didn't have all of it there. We didn't really have a place. We were playing outside in the gazebo all year long.
All year long.
Minus inside. Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
played
it's
during
the
fall and
one
winter.
again.
Oh,
We
you
got-
got some
We
crazy.
had
We
fire
had-
pits and shit, dude. It was freezing.
We had the
Gotta tell
fire
ya.
pit. No, the favorite was the fire pit with the barbecue.
We were at my house playing. I have a 12-foot gazebo. So we put the tarps down and we literally were playing out. Yep, that's
some dedicated.
sometimes we
right
played it.
there.
Well, no, it wasn't that bad.
Kept the
Until
cold
shit
out.
started snowing, and then we were like, fuck
it was
this.
a different story.
It's just also when we tried talking over like tractor trailers going by, and we used to joke calling them the whales.
Yeah, because we were we were in the water a lot in certain places, so the tractor trailers go by, and we would all stop at the same time and go, "Way," as they were going by.
But
We
we
came
wanted,
a long way, guys.
but
Let's
what?
do that someday.
But definitely, we wanted to get a little bit of content on campaign 1 and why, deep lore into who, it's mainly on Sat and Grievous.
Okay.
There and what happened between campaign 1. Now I will give you guys a little bit of content, but we're going to be jumping a lot during campaign 1 as we talk in our Tales of Shadow. So how the campaign ran, I'm going to say 5 years from start to finish. It wasn't the first campaign as a group. Mainly as this group now that we have before you. These 3 were the players that were in it. Arian was a part of it late in.
No, she
No?
came
Never
in first
played.
Australia.
Okay. So yeah.
No,
So these guys, so the 3 here were the ones that were here for most of this campaign. The other guys have left us, some on bad terms, some just because jobs took over.
Life.
But, so, as the contents, what we're doing is, I originally wanted to do this campaign, just because I'm a fan of Critical Role, so I did the Wild Mount campaign book. I purchased that, and that was the Tomb of Annihilation book, which was the revamp, sort of the revamp or the spin-off of Tomb of Horrors. To those who do know Tomb of Horrors and know that lore with Asarak and how crazy goddamn stupid it was. I mean, to tell you the truth, the party during Campaign 1, I did throw it out there and did throw Tomb of Horrors out. By default, they died.
I mean,
if it wasn't for divine intervention, which is the only way that saved them. If not, they were drowning.
We're not blowing the fuck up.
We
No,
literally
drowning.
lost all of
No.
It was drowning. Because
Yeah.
the water was filling up and there was 3 wheels.
Oh yeah.
And you guys pulled 3 levers. You guys pulled the wrong one.
I don't
So
wanna talk
it was
about
filling up with water and you were going to die.
I don't want to talk about it.
No, it wasn't. It was a bottomless pit. Sorry, it was a bottomless pit. You fell to your death and you were keep on falling, so that was game over. But because of divine intervention and I allowed it, it filled up with water and they were able to escape.
You are a
out the
generous DM.
Well, because the Tomb of Horrors is nasty.
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's designed
That
for your
is
character.
for. Okay, listen.
Well, it's not called a Tomb of fucking Roses.
No. Okay, listen. The Tomb of Horrors. I'll put a little contents on this. Those who are not familiar with Dungeons and Dragons.
It's a bitch.
If you're not,
No. Here. Listen. Gary Gygax created the Tomb of Horrors because of players, and sorry, but we'll give an example
yeah.
of players who want to have power, who think that they have the amazing to hit, they can hit anything, they want all the magical
It's a
weapons.
humbling technique.
Tomb of Horrors is to correct that player.
Doesn't always work.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes, it does. Trust me. I played the original AD&D, and it is far worse. Okay? So the Tomb of Horrors is nasty. Tomb of Horrors was a tomb that Vecna / Asarak did, or Sirak. These 2 liches made to hide their phylacteries. This was the original, or one of the hiding places of the Book of Vile Darkness. This place was trapped to hell and back. Finding it was a trap. Okay? Because it was buried in a desert. Once you uncovered it, and the door opened, first 10 feet, you're trapped to hell and back. And now the Tomb of Annihilation has the same features to it. So that was that. But we started off with Tomb of Annihilation, and then we went to Wildland. Went to Critical Role's book that they released out. So, Tomb of Annihilation. How it started was a band of adventurers, those who answered the call. There was a lady in Chalt on in the port city there, Port Nazul, I believe is what it's called. That one, to all adventurers, and she had many adventuring parties up. Like they kept on, she ordered like 20 of them to show up, 20 adventuring parties to go out and do this. The more she had in, the more of the thing. So what basically the quest was they had 14 days. There's this thing called the dying sickness, okay, or death sickness. What it was is that when you died, no matter what, no matter how you died, your soul can never go into the other planes. So those who were of the religious aspect of heaven, you couldn't go to heaven or hell.
Yeah.
You went to a device called a soul room.
Oh.
That was there. So it was trying to free. It was finding this device, destroying it, and setting all the souls free. Now the woman who gave this quest was a form of. She was revived, but as the revive kicked off, right when the soul moon was activated, she had 14 days to live.
That's why she. Okay.
So she hired a lot of adventuring parties and promised them. She was a big adventurer throughout her whole life. She had a plethora of magical items that she would let whatever group did it. That group would have had access to her stores. No charge of any magical items they wanted. That was it. They each got one. That's it. That's a hefty price. So a lot of people did. Now, Chult is an island. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about this. What's weird about it is that this island is like Jurassic Park.
On steroids.
Times 2.
There are dinosaurs within Chult. There are dinosaurs. So the party accepted and went out. Now, the difference was that a lot of the a lot of the market people that were hauling stuff, all the merchants that were hauling stuff were using dinosaurs like Triceratopses and Ankylosauruses to pull the carts. Okay. There was talk of a monster called the King of Feathers, which we will get to when we get closer to the other side of this island.
Who had no feathers, by the way?
Oh, he did.
That was a big thing that Pork Chop was pissed off about.
No, he did. He was covered. So that's what it was. Now, beyond that, Chult wasn't fully mapped out. It has never been mapped out by any type of cartographers. There's only certain points. The main center of Chult was uncharted. Anybody who went over there would try to map it out and never came back. The reason being is the center, coming from Omni and running Chult to get to the mainland, which would be Exandria or the Sword Coast, however you guys wanted to put it, to use this setting of where it was going to be. Massive hordes of undead armies.
Alright.
Was there. Yep. So literally you were in a jungle. So think of the Congo. Except there were somewhat animals around, but it was mainly undead.
What was the real estate value in fucking Chult? It does not seem like a good place to live.
The port city was amazing.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Port city was like Neverwhere.
But once you go into the jungle, you want to go.
Once you get past that and get past the fort, that was a couple miles out. That was the only line of defense they had.
Kids would start to go, moms would beat their asses. You gotta get back in the city.
Horror stories for
and those who went in adventure didn't just find, undead skeletons or ghouls and shit like that. No, you were finding undead skeletal versions of dinosaurs.
Ah, that's...
So sometimes you get really fucked up when a skeletal Triceratops came after you.
Yeah, it's all
or one with its jaw like it's dead.
No,
and its jaw just like hanging over by
zombie
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 dinosaurs.
Skeleton one. Think the Power Rangers movie.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So
I got a bone to pick with you.
There were a couple places within the island of Chult that were worth seeing as far as getting your way there. One was called the Heart of Chult, which was a floating island in the center of Chult. It was said to house something of magical importance. I can't remember what the hell it was, but I don't have the book in front of me.
Oh my god. It was just a little thing.
That's where the giants were, right?
No, that was the...
The Heart had some... fuck me. See, this is where it's a talk show, and we're going to go look this shit up.
I feel like there was a book or something up there.
No, it definitely wasn't a book.
It was called The Heart.
Wasn't it the broken one? No, that was
that was
That
the temple.
one.
The Heart of Uppbeats. Or Upptau. The Heart of Upptau. Which was this floating little island was in the shape of a heart. It did have a tree, a hollowed out tree, and then it had a cave inside. It was the worshippers of Upptau. The wizard. It had the teleportation circle that were the Red Wizards of Thay was going to use to get there. and it was the housing of the soul before
The
it got
Red Wizards of May. They're bad.
So
Not good.
that was the main thing for that. That was the only like massive wonder there. Now there were things along the way. You had the mountain volcano ranges, which housed the Dwarven City. That was long abandoned. Think of Lord of the Rings type ordeal. Hobbit more. The Smaug took over.
Yeah.
So there was a dragon that took over, a young dragon that did took over by the name of Tinder, that the party did befriend and
He still hates me for that.
got this dragon to go to the main island so that way Chult can rebuild it. After, they all had this mindset that they were going to destroy the soul. That was going east. West, you had the Aarakocra Temple.
That's where we reared the rocks. Roots.
Yeah.
Big ass birds.
Yes. So that was an Aarakocra Temple who served the kingdom of Chult, or the kingdom of Anu, which was the main kingdom, the only kingdom. The ruler of Chult itself was Anu, the city. There, the party did meet the prince and princess there. The princess was the eldest. I believe she had to be no more than 12 or 14.
14.
And then the boy, her brother, was about like 8 on the side. But they were the last survivors of it. Now, Amu was destroyed. It housed the King of Feathers. Those were their ruins. But there, that the party learned throughout their exploration of Chult was that Amu was the city housing the Tomb of Annihilation, or the Tomb of the Nine Gods, which was where the Soulmonger's resting place is. Now, the Tomb of Nine Gods held the 9 gods of Chult. To other people's eyes, they were the betrayer gods, or they were the primordial gods of Chult. They didn't know about Bahamut or Pelor or any of that. These 9 gods were there. So as the party got to Amu, right on the outskirts, they wanted to rest before the day because they did hear noises, loud roars, with some magic and spells being flung across, because there were 2 factions there fighting for control of Amu, trying to get control of the tomb, or the Temple of the Nine Gods. You had the Yellow Wizards, the faction set out by Chult and people to destroy them, and you had the Red Wizards, who are trying to maintain control, who are working with and for Assyric and Vecna. Basically a war front lines. They wanted to rest before. Now, before the party was resting there, into one of the ruins, one like a lack of better terms, a broken down plantation house. There, they met the start of another party going to the Tomb of Annihilation. First one they encountered that started, I think, actually saved their lives. Because one, during their travels through the jungles, became petrified. Turned to stone. It wasn't for a lone Leonin cleric by the name of Rue, who helped stop the petrification.
Now, which one was petrified?
Doctor's
I do not
character.
know.
Doctor's character.
Was it?
They were starting the thing. They had a couple hours to do it, but nobody in this time had any type of, not dispel, but like removed. There's no paladins around here. And clerics. Or the cleric that we did have wasn't high level enough to stop this. Rue, however, was. Rue was a lion tabaxi, or a leona, cleric, but was completely covered. You would think a lion wants to show off his mane and shit like that. He stayed completely covered. It wasn't until that plantation when you guys met up with him, and he had 2 other people in his company who were looking over on you to verify strategies, access points, and stuff like that. So, Rue learned of him and what he is, and it wasn't until Tristana that Rue finally kind of you guys befriended each other, and Rue showed a level of trust to take off his helmet and showed the matted mane that he had.
Kind of like, what's his name?
He was shamed. He cut his own mane in splotches as a sign of disgrace, dishonor, because he let his brother get lost within the jungle, so he couldn't find him.
Wasn't it, you said his mane was almost cut up and matted like, what's his name from Landward to the Wardrobe? I can't remember the lion's name.
Aslan.
It was almost
Yeah,
like that.
so
It was very
how
matted.
in Narnia, in the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion Witch the Wardrobe, halfway through the movie, the lion
Read a book.
the lion gets made. The splotches of his massive mane gets cut up and disfigured. So it wasn't until then. Now that morning, as you guys woke up to go through there, Amu was protected. You had, there was a couple yellow wizards, a couple rogue wizards. You guys did meet the yellow wizards and was able to form somewhat of a little bit of alliance, and you guys went further in because they couldn't get to the temple because of a massive creature stalking the jungles of Chult. Or Amu, protecting it. They did find out that this monster was called the King of Feathers. It wasn't until a really mad tabaxi by the name of
Bag of Nails.
Bag of Nails.
He was a few screws short.
He was a completely crazed tabaxi. I believe he was a leopard. Tabaxi. He was crazy as all hell.
Think King Boomy Avatar. Crank it back
He was
to 10.
bad shit nuts.
Oh, yes. He talked about the King of Feathers. Now, as the party explored Chult, there was a Colosseum that's its nest.
I remember this part.
In order to go to the Temple of the Nine Gods, you had to go through or go near that Colosseum. Of where, the King of Feathers' nest was. That's dangerous going into a ruined city. No monsters other than the King of Feathers. For context, the King of Feathers is a massive T-Rex. Covered in feathers like how the original raptors were. Covered in feathers. Now this massive T-Rex had a very unique special ability. It was allowed to dimension door at will.
Yeah, this thing was a son of a bitch for that.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm using that.
It was able
It was-
to teleport 30 feet as a bonus action before it really started screwing people up.
I think I was one of the first ones to realize that because Tristana had that broom, and she'd fly at it and dimension door behind her.
Yep.
So now I will say this is when they met the other members of Rue's company.
Hey, that's where you met your buddy, Porkchop.
You met a knight by the name of Al, who was part demon, not so much
With his firing ripple.
not so much a tiefling, more demon
Mr. fucking
elemental
Wall
fire. Kind of like Hellboy.
Oh, all right.
But instead of like there, the in between, mainly his abs that he was showing off that
Mr.
everybody was
Lava.
enjoying was lava around.
That's
He had
That's
rippling
kind of
abs,
cool, but
literally.
also like, what?
Now, Owl in D&D mechanics was called a rune knight.
You know what pork chop called him all the time?
Don't.
Now,
Oh.
asshole.
It's okay.
in the battle between the King of Feathers, you had Owl helping out with his one ability of a rune knight, Fire Shackles, was able to lock the King of Feathers from moving a lot through these chains that attached to its legs, so it couldn't walk, but it sure as hell teleport. You had a Overwatch person high up on the cliff going down,
The padre.
who is indeed Lucy's father, Trent. Trent.
Fuck Trent.
We'll get,
I was
before
wondering how
anything,
long to
we'll
look.
get to that eventually on why he hates him so much, but continue.
I think
Trent.
If you're watching this, Trent, that's for you.
Trent is a gunslinger. That was a new class added into Dungeons & Dragons, and I was really curious to see how he worked. So, hit him. So with a cleric, a knight, and a gunslinger, those three literally had the tank, the healer, and the range. Now, as the party was fighting it, Henshin with his warlock paladin abilities
Not quite yet.
he's working on
What's
it.
the
smited him. You're able to land smites.
He was
That
smart.
was
that's how you-
Viking that took it
Oh,
out.
okay.
Yeah, that was Belveric, bro.
That was Belverics, who was crit.
He's
But
trying to give you Belveric credit.
as it went
I
down,
was like,
I thought you had the killing blow.
No, that was Belveric's.
no, I
That was
set it
pork
up
chop.
Okay.
because remember
I had to kill him more.
because
Technically, by I let you have the killing blow, but Trent did have the killing blow.
Yeah, of
Because-
course he did.
Pork Chop had the killing
Pretty
blow
bully.
because I
He lined up the shot.
use
He's like,
guiding
"You're
bolt.
welcome."
Well, you had Guiding Bolt and you had Path to the Grave. Because Rue was a grave cleric, so vulnerability, double damage.
And then it was an auto.
And Trent went at the same time Pork Chop did.
Yeah,
So
so
as Pork Chop
both,
was nailing the... Kind of like right when he was sinking his axe into the flesh, the bullet pierced him and beat him to it.
Pretty much did. You're welcome.
Yeah, because I hit him between
Actually,
the eyes.
yeah.
and
then
this Pork
the
Chop
bullet
call
went-
shot, and
Yeah.
I made it a straight shot because I
So, with the King
Yeah.
of Feathers dying and dead, you guys had meat for days.
Oh, yeah.
Pork Chop and I ravaged the body.
Hey,
Then-
DM, what does dinosaur meat taste like?
Amazing.
Tastes like chicken.
I mean, think of bear.
You think?
I would say more bear.
It's a lizard. I'd
top-
say it tastes like chicken.
I mean,
They are.
I
I remember it being gamey.
Oh,
was
I'm
gamey.
sure.
It was
I'm
very
sure.
Yeah, we couldn't get the wild taste out of it, so
now when that was done, and the temple entrance was around, there were shrines around. You did house 9 shrines. When you guys went to them or heard the ping or calling towards these shrines, these gods did help you out. Those who said, hey, if you go in there and find me, find my shrine, find my tribe, do it, I give you a boon. Which, there were a couple good abilities that were there, that most of the party had. Each member of the party did have a power to one of the 9 gods. There weren't 9 players though. So, you did have that. Now, what's weird about it is that the temple entrance, there were just like Tomb of Horrors, there are two entrances. One is a false. One pretty much is a cave. You're fucked. You're screwed.
Yeah.
The other one was the main entrance. It was hidden, but it was the main entrance. A little bit off the beaten path around the rock face.
I remember this because this is
The worst part about it was there was a solid black obelisk in between these two doors. This obelisk housed another protector that would to ever break or destroy or disenchant, demagic it would the beam would be released, and it would be it's the protector of the temple. Now,
whatever it saw in front of it.
hold on. Now, that is what I'm going to turn it over to you guys as part one of this. So, one-on-ones. If I have my dice, I roll and say, hey, I do.
I was going to say
dice.
a friend.
Listen,
I'm going to start with
I
those
know.
two because I came in late.
Okay, so
Those are
No, you didn't. You were there with us.
Yeah.
Ancient was part of it. Was part of the temple.
Yeah, I know.
You fought the
but
King of Feathers. Then no, we're talking about, this is the part, the entrance to Omni. The entrance to the temple. We haven't got to the temple yet. Okay? This is just from now to that point. Okay? So, Otter,
Either.
We'll go one.
you're 3. Otter.
Of course I'm one.
So, as it states, one-on-one, pork chop.
Yeah.
We're going to do a little one-on-one session with you for up to this point. Now, to let the people know,
Let the people know.
as they found out in episode 91, Hearts and Mind. Egar found out, or knew about it, and confirmed it, even though Sat said it, confirmed it.
Yeah, thanks, Sat.
And met it, that Egar is the father to Porkchop. So, let's get a little bit more content on Porkchop. So, before we jump into Omnia, Brandon, Porkchop,
Swing.
Swag me.
can you please describe
Asshole.
and talk a little bit about Porkchop? Who was he? Where did he come from?
How do you get that name?
You don't want to know that. There's a funny story.
Someone knows
Okay.
looking. He likes having
Anyway.
pork chop.
Pork Chop was a Goliath barbarian fighter. Was really one of those kick-ass, don't take any bullshit.
I believe the subclass was
Fighter.
Totem Warrior.
Huh?
Totem
Totem
Warrior.
Oh, yes. The subclass was the Totem
Fair.
Warrior.
Hell yeah.
Totem Warrior, meaning
It was fucking awesome. It was probably
It
the
was-
best.
by
the
when
best
he
one.
by when
Yeah.
he
No, you
raged.
weren't a fighter. You were a blood hunter.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
Initially.
you know, the best part is we can look this shit up.
I was initially the Blood Hunter until that shit happened to where I had to save a life of a person in the party. So I had to sacrifice my Blood Hunter to become the fighter.
That's cool.
We'll look at it.
Sacrifice is always fun in D&D.
I'll definitely give you a more fine-tuned aspect to this because campaign was called Fading Bright.
Yep.
And we had Pork Chop. No, you were not a fighter.
Then what was it?
You were, and I remember this. You were, as when the campaign ended, campaign 1 ended, everybody was level 16. You were 10 levels barbarian, 6th level is a druid.
That's
Which
right.
is wild shaped with rage.
That's right. I
That's
forgot about
such
that.
a fun combo. It's not typical and it's hard to cast, but damn.
I do remember that
He
now.
harnessed it pretty well.
He had a lot of fun with that. I remember
Oh, I had
that.
fucking amazing fun. with
So, again,
that. I was originally a barbarian blood hunter,
but that
and
changed.
then I had to change that because I had to sacrifice something to save the
Keep-
life
keep
of
in mind-
our.
I was a very
Right.
generous dungeon master and pork chop playing pork chop. Brandon playing pork chop. Sorry.
Please don't call
This is getting meta.
Because he was new to Dungeons and Dragons. So naturally I gave him a little bit more leeway to finding the right class for him. So, pork chop. Barbarian. Subclass was Totem Warrior, meaning every time he raged, he took half damage from every type of damage, minus psychic.
Which was fucking awesome.
Minus psychic. That was the only thing that dealt full damage to him when he raged. So, pork chop. Where'd you hail from?
I hailed from Wow.
Hard sun, no.
No, I know I should have. I didn't scour through them, and I should have. A little unprepared my end. I should have found the book and the map, because we had everything written down on what it was called. Off of Wildmount, off of Exandria, there was a remote island, or a remote mountain, that was
Outside.
not really, like, named.
Yeah.
And then we added his place to it. I forget what we called it.
Wild Mount.
No, we had an actual name for him.
The name for the town.
Because you and I actually named the
Oh,
mountain
yeah.
that we lived from.
I don't remember it. I know it was real Nordic. I remember that.
No, I can't
Nordic.
remember.
But
The book. Yeah, the book's
But
not
out
here,
from
so.
there, you were named acting chief.
yes. Because my father was missing. Was gone.
Igor was missing.
So I was the tribal chief at that point in time. I was the head of the table. But yeah, that basically, and it
So,
was one of those things. Whatever pork chop says, win.
so playing in Omnia, coming through the jungles, going toe to toe with the King of Feathers, finding that temple, seeing what happened, to gain entry to it. How did you feel about fighting the King of Feathers? Or seeing a jungle that housed these behemoth of monsters?
Seeing something like that definitely gave him the thoughts of like, oh shit, I might be over my head a little bit. I might be in over my head.
I mean, these they were called behemoths. Is what they were called. But in real world, in our world, they're dinosaurs. So
No,
seeing these creatures, seeing a massive T-Rex that is literally covered in feathers, had the ability to bamf, to teleport through means of Dimension Door. How did Pork Chop feel about that?
well, like I said, he definitely felt like he was in over his head a little bit. But pork chop, he was never really what you would consider a very smart man. He looked at everything like, okay, it's a challenge. So I'm either going to rise above the challenge or I'm going to die trying to do so.
Now, a little bit more of the context here was Omni was at the end of the other island. Or at the end of the island. So you had nothing but ocean there. If you wanted to jump into those waters, A for one is jagged rocks all around, there's no beach. 2, Chalk had a guardian that swam around Chalk's. The guardian was a dragon turtle. These things are TPK killers.
Steam breath like a motherfucker.
So, a party at 8th level,
Yeah, we was like
7th
8th or
level,
9th.
had no chance of leaving this island alive.
No.
We're fighting where his nest was. So, that obelisk gaining entry. There is a moment that happened that got them entry that's somewhat very on the sad part, but very heroic at
Somewhat?
the same time.
No, not that one.
Oh,
What happened?
No, it wasn't that one. That one wasn't the really sad
No,
one.
I know which one we're talking about. That's when we get to the mainland, to Exandria. But because it was hidden, it was somewhat of the rock thing. There. What the two groups there thinking was, now if you got the door, if you couldn't beat the trap on the door, the obelisk activated and a fiend came out. Now it wasn't a pit fiend, it was
It was
a knight's brew.
no.
It was a pig one. It was the pig demon, like Bebop with wings.
I thought you said it was
I thought you
A
said
great
Lord
image.
Pitchy.
oh, what was
No,
it?
it wasn't a pit.
Lord of the Rings.
Balrog.
I thought it was a Balrog.
Yes.
Baylor. It was a Baylor then.
Yeah.
It was a Baylor. Baylor, which had a lightning sword and a fire weapon. Oh no, strike that. Had a flame sword and a lightning weapon. That's what it was. Yeah, so those were Baylors are not for the party. So what happened was they initially got the door wrong because they wanted to force entry into the door. So what they did was, I believe Henshin set this one up with
unseen servant.
bombs. When you guys were blowing up the base of the obelisk, which caused the obelisk to explode
Yeah, it was like a
and cause a cave-in that would protect you guys from this demon entering the temple.
Yeah.
And Rue, Al, and Trent are the ones that stood guard and fought off the beast while you guys were gaining entry into the place.
I believe the words from Trent is go destroy the soul monger, we'll join you later.
Yeah.
So there was that's there. So from the time you were in charge to that entryway, what's a good moment that Pork Chop experienced?
It's kind of a loaded question, but
Up to this point.
well, no, you can gladly help me because you're like.
There's one you hate.
Yeah, I remember that
There's a couple I can think of, like when we finally beat King of Feathers, we just looted the body for components.
one. I mean, yeah, that was definitely a good one. It's just hacking into the body of the.
You and I made a couple daggers
King of
out of his
Feathers.
teeth.
It was out of his claws.
That's right. That's right. We made necklaces out of his teeth.
Yeah. They were kind of the weapons we made were kind of useless, but we were still cool to have.
They were ceremonial.
Yeah.
And pretty much they were trophies because
Yeah.
nobody was going to believe him
Yeah.
that he fought this King of Feathers, this massive behemoth of a lizard.
You can't just be like, Snapchat.
That's right. Yeah, we took.
Because I was going to go, couldn't like we took the picture.
Yeah, because we literally hacked its claws off, and I
Made
you and I
daggers.
made daggers.
Yeah. That was
Now-
pretty cool.
What's a good memory of it? I mean, you did, I believe this deals with the Akroka Temple and the princess.
Yeah, she fell really hard.
She fell for a fortune.
You're all
She did.
like,
She did.
Pork chop did
Yeah.
that
She
fall
had
for
a
her.
pork chop wrapped around her campaign.
Yeah.
Because never seeing a Goliath barbarian before.
She didn't know
This
what to do with
hulking
all the
of
muscles.
a man, barely wearing armor, but practically wearing no armor.
Jesus, Frank.
Practically
I'm getting
wearing
hot
no
over here.
clothes.
It's just
Yeah, I was barely wearing anything.
True,
Loincloth
Just like
with
you
a
are.
belt.
Yeah.
but I know that was.
Didn't know you got you all hot and bothered there,
Oh,
Andy.
no. My pants was riding up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now I know that was a memory there. I know going and seeing all of you and seeing the city because you
Wait, that was later.
you definitely escorted the princess down.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely.
I know one.
Well, he knows more.
It's one of the gods.
Oh,
Yes.
The Yuntai.
That's why we always like.
The snake girl.
All right, so long story short, Pork Chop was, we'll just say he was a sucker for a cute face.
She had a tail.
He was horny a lot. And,
she slithered her way right into his heart.
yeah, we met a snake goddess,
A Yuntai
a Yuntai.
She was a priestess.
is the race. She was a priestess.
Yeah, me too.
She was a priestess. And once again, you know,
Me too.
not
Pure
seeing
blood.
the big hulking man around, she was kind of like, hoo-hoo. Pork Chop silver-tongued his way around. It sounded really bad.
Yeah, he snaked his way into that one.
Yeah. And got to take a really nice bath with that person. And actually, if I don't recall completely correctly, if I might be wrong, wasn't it blood? Yeah.
Let's try to remember from the
He got to take
of
a
this.
that was
Jesus
pretty good.
Christ.
He got to take a blood bath, literally, with this snake lady, and
That was to keep her from aging, bathing in child's blood.
Did Pork Chop feel younger after he was done?
he felt lighter.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
There was some children in that blood.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
So Pork Chop definitely had a good time that day. To this day, it's still
Bloody hell.
you'll hear if you look through the videos, and you'll hear one of us end up going. Tss, tss, tss. That's why. Because Pork Chop fucked the snake lady.
Now, I believe on top
That
of
last
this, throughout
time.
this travels, Pork Chop, knowing that, I forget her name to save my life, the princess.
Party member?
Huh?
Party member, or the mean the priestess?
The princess along.
Max.
Mac. Yeah, you're fucking right. Yep.
Max was short for her name. Maxine or something like that.
Maxine.
Maxwell. I don't know.
Maxine.
Something like that. But they all call her Max. Now she had things for you, but you were trying to get the attention of a party member
Uh-huh.
Yes.
by the name of Tristan.
Yes.
Like he stated earlier, sucker for a pretty face.
That is very true.
But at the same time,
And so
Fuck
was
you.
like
at the same time, that was Trent's goal. Because one of Trent's flaws was I'm a sucker for a
Oh
pretty
my
face.
god, that whole beginning of meeting him was fucking hilarious.
Okay. So I'll tell you a rundown right fast. Pork Chop didn't really what you consider take care of Trisana.
Is this
But-
why Buck Trent? Is this
Yes.
why?
Yes.
That's exactly why. But
Yeah.
Pork Chop put a little extra effort into making sure that Trisana was okay. If somebody was to speak to her the wrong way, Pork Chop was going to rip their fucking head off. If she was hurt, if somebody attacked her,
They
she
ripped
was
the fucking head off.
he was going to rip their fucking head off. Like, you didn't mess with Trisana. If you looked at her the wrong way, Pork Chop was going to rip her fucking head
Maybe she
off.
thought she just had a really good friend and a bodyguard.
Yeah, pretty much.
It
So,
was
Pork Chop was, you know, big dude, muscular. Wasn't the best looking. He was okay.
you had a 7 for your
I didn't
charisma.
know, it was like a 13. But,
I've never
Your
thought
charisma
of
was a
charisma
0,
like
was
that.
an 11.
okay, it was an 11.
Because I'm looking at your character sheet.
I couldn't remember. I just know it wasn't high. So, like, he was good looking if you squinted.
Or you went to the tavern all night.
Yeah. So,
He was a last call hookup.
you're pretty much. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to start saying fuck Andy now instead of fuck Trent. But
Can we get that in this shirt?
he would always take care of her as much as he possibly could. He was actually, in his eyes, he was getting somewhere with this. He felt like...
Okay.
Listen, okay. Whatever, okay.
I feel
Alright.
so bad though.
She goes down, right? She goes down in battle. So Pork Chop
Fucking poor hellhound.
scoops her up to the rescue, you know, helps destroy the rest of the fucking issue, scoops her up to the rescue, and just bolts to getting her safe. As he's bolting, she wakes up and, like, looks out of her eyes, whatever, and sees him and gives him that look of, like, oh, my hero. And he was like, haha, I'm your hero. But as he was saving her, whatever, no other motherfucker in this party did it! As he was saving her,
Someone was already a sucker for another pretty face.
some dickhead that we don't fucking speak of anymore. Everybody else speaks of him, but Pork Chop speaks differently. Just literally swooped in, literally,
Start bringing one of those metal
and saved the fucking day. Pork Chop did all the work, literally all the fucking work to save her ass. This motherfucker.
If I may, for context on that, we had another party member who he played a female tiefling, which I was also a tiefling, and she had a slightly lower charisma than me. So he was just like, hey, how you doing? And here he comes, carrying me down, like, guys, she's finally awake. And he's just like,
Yeah.
hey, how you doing?
So that one wakes up the rest of the way, completely forgets about the guy who saved her fucking life. Literally saved her life, nursed her back to fucking health.
It was literally the moment of the episode of Family Guy when the babysitter comes over and Peters knocks Lois off the way.
Yeah.
They need to see the babysitter.
Then she falls.
Trent's
for her head.
personality was a mix between Han Solo and Lando Calrissian.
Ugh.
Sucker for a pretty face.
And he had a high-ass charisma.
Oh, yeah.
And
He was a pretty boy fuck is what he was.
he tried his best to get with the person who had the highest charisma.
It worked.
I had an almost come. I was a knight.
What was your class?
I was sorceress, straight sorceress tiefling.
Oh, yeah. Sorcerers.
For years. Months, years, what the fuck ever. Protector. Literally protector. For everything.
Friend.
I got friend zoned like a motherfucker is what happened.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, bro.
Because Pretty Boy came in and she was like, ooh, he's hot.
And this literally started a little love triangle feud
For the longest freaking time.
from Fortressana over Pork Chop or Trent.
That's great.
Yeah.
Who will
Anytime
she
the
choose?
princess was
Oh,
mentioned,
dude, it was hilarious to
out of
watch.
Trent's line of sight, even the freaking house with the pork chopper episode. Every time,
We'll
like,
get to
where's
that
the
one.
princess? Where's the
Now,
princess?
There's that. That is a funny thing that did happen
Oh my-
because they did it in the.
Was that after the tower? The
They did it in the plantation house
I thought
Oh,
so.
yeah, okay.
because everybody was bedding down.
Like, did
for-
it?
No, like.
Oh shit!
No,
Yes!
it was for the night.
Oh,
Everybody was
okay.
bedding down for the night, so this would be Pork Chop's like little funny moment here.
Yeah.
I remember this.
Rue put up a ward on the house and Trent was outside guarding, wasn't
Yes. So when Trent was done like patrolling in his turn to wake up the next person, he wanted to check up on the princess.
My
He cut-
princess.
He comes
Here-
from
My
my way
fucking
first.
princess.
So not princess, not Max, but Tristana is also royalty. Well, was not go. Well, no, not royalty.
They didn't know. Yeah, she's royalty.
You were, but not
No one
to
knew.
not to what not to the events. Well, sure, not till later on, but she was indeed royalty to a degree because she is part of there. It was other people who were ahead of her as far as that, as far as heirs go. But I believe when he came back to wake up the next person, because I believe he was going to...
He was asking which door to go to.
He was checking on the princess. He was checking
Yeah.
on Tristana. He wanted to see where she was.
Scooby-Doo moments, running down halls.
Kind of like the better. So he
He
went literally from door to door asking where it was. Now the party wanted to play a really fucked up prank.
I was drunk. Shocker.
Pork Chop likes to sleep naked.
He
Buck
opened
ass
his
naked.
door and he said, "Where's the princess?" He said, "That door."
I said, down the hall on the right.
Not knowing this was Pork Chop's door, Trent burst in.
Princess!
Thinking, I'm going to try to get a little bit of alone time with this princess. No.
Opens the door.
Opens the door and literally loincloth drops and he is scarred for life.
He literally stands there and turns himself
If it
into
wasn't
a
that the
That
night...
was
pork
the
chopper.
payback
I don't see
Pork
where
Chop
you'd be.
had.
No, so... To be fair, Frank, you left it up to the dice of which... Or he decided to pick because I didn't specify which room on the right.
But luckily for him,
He got a show.
he
You got
picked
shit.
my door. So whenever I knew that it was him who came through my door, also being intoxicated, like I said, that was Pork Chop's thing, just like Igor. You know, you can tell their father and stuff. He comes through the door. I was in the middle of taking my clothes off, and as soon as he opens up the door, I drop it. He was in shock, so I swung it at him in circles.
And that's why he's a pork chop.
And he literally screamed and said, "Oh God, what the fuck is that?" I know why they call you Pork Chop now. And he ran out of the room.
He ran
So
back
now
down and
I-
said, he looks at me and goes, I thought you said, and the princess's roof is on the right. I was like,
He
I
did
did.
eventually find the princess, but Rue was asleep without his helmet, like a cat laying on on her lap, just asleep. He finally got his sleep, and he's just like,
and
oh.
Trent's like, nope, not gonna.
Now, with that, dig a little bit deeper into the temple. The temple had 9 floors. Each floor
Worse than the last.
was to the 9 gods of Charles. Now there was a little hiccup that they soon believed that the temple is really called the Tomb of the False 9 Gods.
Those trickster gods.
They were trickster gods who took control and disguise of the actual 9 gods. And they were the trickster versions of them. Each floor had a specific trap that went there. This is kind of like we're going to leave Pork Chop off and go to the next player in this rotation.
Good, because I don't want to talk about
Pork
that.
Chop's little life-changing experience of I only protect or only fight with those who are able, who are strong enough to fight for themselves. That changed once he found a room that housed 3 chests. These chests, when you opened them, were empty. But you had to find the key to the door. Now, the way the trap went, there were 3 chests. A obsidian, a rusty one, and a silver one.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Trust me, I do too.
What you had to do was someone had to go inside the chest, sit down in a crouch in it, and shut it. And the key would appear if you picked the right chest.
Oh god.
If you picked the wrong chest or forced it open while somebody was inside it, the trap of the chest will go off. Now, the silver one did the effects of Blizzard.
So frozen.
So if you were to drop your hit points, you would be frozen solid. The Obsidian, which is the one they went to.
Yeah.
One of the players who is no longer part of this party.
Who was it?
Wish you could have been here for this.
Biscuit.
He played a rogue. And he went into that. He could not find the key. Because it was a two-part thing. One person decided it and one person had to figure out where was the button at to release the key.
Yeah.
It was on a ticking time clock. Because once it was shut with somebody in it, if nobody could find the key within a lot of time, it goes off. Or the room locks up.
And we're all
screwed.
stuck.
The room locked up if you didn't find the key. So, Porkchop with this player's character inside. Porkchop forced it open. And it was...
Wait, you're fucking up. First of all, that player that went into the chest was Porkchop's best friend. They were literally thicker than thieves. It was a bro.
Yeah, we get it.
So, they were best friends. Whatever the character was inside the chest, they started filling up with poison gas.
Yeah.
So, she says
Hence
back...
time limit.
Yeah, because it ran out of the time limit.
Yeah.
She says back to Porkchop, I can't breathe, the chest is filling up with gas, blah blah blah, still can't find a key, yada yada yada. Porkchop, being the big fucking person that he was
Porkchop
like,
smash.
fuck this, I'm getting you out of it. So he grabbed it and tried to rip it open.
When forced open, it was a disintegrate style.
Yeah.
I dealt enough damage by the dice to drop this character to 0. By the time he opened it, it poofed, and all that was left
Literally dust.
was a pile of ash.
That sucks.
He literally
That
opened the
changed
life
Porkchop's seeing the people to now protect the people around. That was a big moment.
Yeah, it was a big changing point.
Now,
Made him realize to use his fucking head more and not his strength.
as we descended more down into the temple, getting closer to the bottom, where the actual Tomb of Annihilation is at.
Can I say something? Frank, you really put these fuckers through the ringer.
Oh
Oh,
god, you
oh,
have
yeah.
no fucking clue. No clue.
We really wish we could have recorded this lot more because
Oh,
I
so
wanted-
many tears.
No,
Well,
we had our
Cried so many
payback.
fucking times.
This
We had our
campaign
payback.
from start to finish was very sad. I had most of these players
He cried
crying
himself.
all the time. Even I did at the end.
You had 3 pages of the
At the
wall
end-
death.
At the end, I literally was crying because I was like, holy shit, this campaign is over. Kind of like almost like you can't recreate it. Like I wasn't trying to script it, whatever. I felt so heartfelt by the end of this campaign. I felt like Matt Mercer
Yeah.
in Critical Role when they finished campaign 2
Yeah.
with the tears and
I mean,
everything.
also,
Matt literally cried before going into campaign 3.
It was a kid that he raised for 5 years.
Also, the campaign finally coming to an end was holy shit, and to be part of this group of friends and players and bonding more, it did strike a very stern chord.
I mean, to be fair, Frank, I don't think you were ready for the plot twist at the end
I
of that.
wasn't. But
We'll get to that later.
further down, close to the end, one of the last floors had a massive hall. This hall did have an item at the end of it. Getting to it, however, was weird because it was mapped out in lines. And you had to follow the right path. You stepped on a wrong thing, it released a trap. This trap, the machine is called a juggernaut,
I am familiar with.
which is a massive
Yeah.
steamroller. And I have the mini in my duffel bag. It's just not on me.
We've used that mini on numerous occasions.
Yes. So, when triggered, the wall starts to close off, and the other one starts to come. It starts to end off, and it starts to do this closing gap type one.
Leaves a real narrow walkway.
It doesn't smush. It does not smush. It contracts because you have the wall that comes down, which blocks your exit, and you have this massive 20-foot, which literally filled the whole hallway, of this stone steamroller coming at you. This thing was almost impervious to magic.
But it wasn't impervious the one time.
The only thing found that could have stopped it was its control rod. Its control device, which you guys grabbed the wrong one.
My wife has my control rod.
That went so wrong with somebody else.
The reason I laugh about control rods is because of Steven.
Anywho,
Okay.
Miss you, buddy.
now, after they barely got out with their lives, they were approaching the last floor. The floor, this time around, was a massive laboratory. Cylinder at the bottom. It was a 100-foot drop into a pool of lava. There was only 3 sections. 3 sections set up like triangle wedges on, around this cylinder rim that you had to try to jump across or fly across by, any type of means.
Or you had me. Who just
One had a chemistry like lab. One had nothing but jars, urns, housing jars inside them, which turned out that this was a Syrax lair. And his phylacteries were hidden here, kind of like that. A Syrax is a legendary lich that kind of is running Dungeons and Dragons by storm. Well, not now, because Vecna is. Because of Stranger Things and stuff like that, Vecna's coming back into the fold.
Yeah.
But after Vecna's thing in Advanced D&D and in the first D&D first edition, Syrax became 3.5s. Their 3rd edition, 3.5, 4th edition's thing.
Yeah, he was like the main.
He was the
he was
main
the big
bad
bad.
fucking lich.
He was the big bad.
He was trying to recreate Vecna.
In campaigns across the nation.
He was trying to
the big
bring
man.
back Vecna. Now, those who know lore, Syrax is the great grandson of Vecna.
He's not that great.
In that lore, he's trying to fulfill his forefather Vecna by ascending into,
God.
the god status.
God.
In order to do this, he couldn't find the spell or material, so he created a device, the Soul Mine, which sucks souls from anything dead, anything that got revived. Anything was going to pull your soul out. You had a time frame. If you flat out die without getting revived, you had 14 days to live. Now,
A little bit longer if you guys.
Is it that noise that you're...
it's we're talking about the ventilation systems kicking off. So, the fight. We're now up to the fight. So, let's go to our next player, Tristan. Shall we? A little background on Tristan.
Tristana
I guess
is
you
a
last.
Yeah. Well, I was the last one of the three to join.
That's fair.
Tristana is a tiefling sorceress of noble background. She had 2 other full-blooded siblings. She had 1 non-blooded sibling, which I played at the very beginning of the campaign, was an elf ranger. Didn't like the nobility stance, being forced to wed, the rule have to, essentially her family was not evil, but I wouldn't say nice for her background. She didn't like the nobility stance, so she literally, when her siblings were, Haskell was, because he was a different type of tiefling, he was an albino, I believe.
Yes.
He was outcast. He had none of the magical spark at all. No magic to him.
He's just a white guy.
So he
Basic white
was
bitch.
he was outcast. So she was the next one on the chopping block of here's the crown, here's what you're gonna do. The Wolscaria Kingdom was open to any race, but you were on the lower rung if you weren't of something different to you, quirk or whatever. She had her sister Reyna and told her, "You're not following me," and snuck out. She became a bounty hunter for a while and eventually met up with the group. Is there anything else you want me to explain about her?
She was hot as fuck.
She was a 19 charisma. She was very,
The
very
highest
strong.
in the party.
She did care about everyone around her. She tried to do what she could, pretty much as a noble. She tried to be not a noble, but to learn herself what she wanted to be. And if she ever went back to Wolscaria, she would roll it right. None of the noble rules of be married who I tell you to, none of that. Just, she wanted to find her own path. And thus, she left an adventure to find her own
way.
Yes.
So, up to this point, what's a good memory of Tristana? A happy or sad one?
I think one of the interesting ones, I would say, was when she tried to be that everyone leave, I'll stay back and fight. There was a room with, I think, 3 or 4 hellhounds in it. And though she is fire resistant, she's not impervious. So they didn't chase. She locked the door and put the room into darkness and would flutter about the room to try to save time. And yes, that is also whenever you busted down the door and she took down, I think, 2 of the 3, but she couldn't take down the 3rd. She missed and it knocked her out. She was low on health, Pork Chop comes in, she wakes up, and there's Trent knocking one of her friends away and says, "Hey, how you doing?"
That was me that got knocked away.
No, he wasn't flirting with you.
No,
He didn't knock you.
No, because I came over to heal.
No.
She's talking about whenever
he pushed Child. That wasn't his child.
Was it whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Pork Chop came in and literally saved her life. He killed the fucking hellhound that was going to kill her. Just so
You
you
did
know.
all the work.
Just so
She
you
didn't
know.
know that.
I was literally laid all the groundwork down for Dickhead to come in and take everything away from her.
For all she knew, it could have hit its
Fuck
head off the
Trent.
wall and died. But no,
There's
it
a lot of that.
was. She wakes up to because that's why everybody's favorite memory is always that. It's the funniest moment of meeting Trent.
Oh, yeah,
And
hilarious.
literally watches her friend get pushed out of the way and just pulls a Joey Fatone. How you doing?
How you doing?
But I definitely think the house was a funny moment. Definitely friggin' hilarious.
So funny.
Her
Free because she got more of a friendship and more of a bond with Rue.
Yes, her best friend was definitely Rue. Even after she became NPC and I played Reyna. Because, yeah, you were like her bodyguard friend. But he literally shook. Spill my drink, Pork Chop. But see someone that doesn't know how to trust other people show that he let his guard down around her and trust her enough to take off the helmet and saw that. And not to even go to sleep.
I'm about to say fuck rude now, too.
Damn. Bringing up all
I
kind
do
of
remember
fucking
the
Trauma, man.
sad memory was we actually planned on how we were going to go around the obelisk because we knew about that. We were doing a plan beforehand. We were going to try to get the door open long enough. We knew we were being trailed down by the undead, I think it was. There was enough that we couldn't fight them. Al actually ran into the woods while the other two held off the Bella.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he literally bulked up, ran into the woods, and took out the undead. You just hear like this big old, almost like metallic war cry. And what was going to happen was we'd all bolt in there. Last moment when the door opens, Trent was going to shoot the obelisk, let it crack, and kill the undead with the door shut. But it didn't work because the door was just access denied. So we had to use the bombs and blow the door open and let us in while it crumbled. But leading up to that point, yeah, I mean, Shy was definitely, it's funny that her name was Shy too. Shy was definitely a sad point for you. Hers was just seeing all this happen and feeling like she didn't do enough. Me, because I put myself in my character sometimes. If I were to be there, that's definitely sad. You're like, we're all doing this. We had a plan. Now these people are going to freaking die because we messed up on a door. Not only
that, whenever that happened, the whole Rue aspect of it too.
Yeah, she's watching him like that's her new a new friend she made, like a really good friend, and she's gonna watch them go out to a students.
They made a sacrifice play to save the party.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's one of many that he would do.
But I mean, later on they did meet up.
Yeah, they were fighting
midway through of the temple. Midway through, you guys did meet up with her.
I thought it was once we got to the Soulmonger. Because there was stuff happening, and then
you guys did meet up beforehand.
Okay.
And then you guys they did help.
But they split off
with a Syrax thing, but then they were quickly they got separated from you guys before the actual fight began.
I mean, truthfully, that's probably a really big turning point for Porkchop as well, because like he was the one that helped close the door at the end, and then whenever Rue didn't make it, he had a soft spot for Rue as well.
Are you talking about the house or talking about the...
I think you're talking
about the house, bro. That's further on. Yes. Yeah, that's further on. That's the tier character for
This is going to take away Andy's
you made it right. Okay.
With Tabitha's backstory, actually.
Oh yeah.
I fucked up.
So after now, trust me, this was a fight.
Oh, yeah.
During the time that they guys were doing it, the party was. You're fighting on a 10-foot little narrow bridge to getting to the Soulmonger. Now, the Soulmonger was attached to another device that was breathing life into, by lack of better terms, I forget the actual monster.
A very fucked up looking baby.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
A really messed up giant fetus of what the housed a baby.
Oh, fuck that.
Since
hey, wait a minute. This is what we're reporting.
Since a Sirak could not become a god of death, he made a god of death. The Soulmonger was feeding souls to a pretty much a dead fetus.
Can I just say something? Fucking lynchdom, like, is the most repulsive fucking thing in D&D. It's like, I will live forever no matter what. It's so shitty. I fucking hate legends.
See, Frank really enjoys legends.
I can tell.
Like, that's one of his, like, things.
Well, no.
Listen, this son of a lich
No,
needs to stop.
I remember, because it wasn't, the main thing was, like, a Sirak in the whole Tomb of Annihilation book. But also the Death Knights that came through.
Yeah, you were pretty hard on those, too. But
Death Knights are pretty fucking fun to play with.
Death Knights, back then, like as 5th edition, was in like its first year.
They're a great like mid-level villain.
Death Knights previously that I remember, like from 3.5, back then, Death Knights were the anti-paladins.
Yeah.
Paladins who died in battle or did evil deeds became Death Knights when they died.
Yeah, but I still feel
That
as
was
if,
the whole thing. They became Death Knights.
I feel as if he really started to enjoy witches a lot. So like that.
I mean, don't get me
He
wrong.
likes
I
bad
had
witches.
a
That's a fucking
field
problem.
day with this fight with the
I-
Sirak. I mean, finger
I've been trying
death.
that
You're fucking.
I had finger of death. I had power word kill.
Oh yeah, it's
Death right? No.
No, I know which one you're talking about, and we're gonna get to that one later on.
They're really.
That was part of the temple. One of the floors of the temple
Yeah.
was a beholder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that was a very interesting fight because
Yeah.
anybody caught in that center eye was anti-magic field. So you couldn't cast spells or use magical weapons. To do it.
What
a
we did to
magical
kill it
weapon
was pretty
can
good.
What you
Still,
did to kill
okay.
it was amazing.
What did you?
Hey, what I did
well-
to kill it was pretty
What?
cool too. If it would have actually been fucking it.
What was it? What happened?
We hold off on that
Yeah,
part
dude.
because it's
I mean, it's part of it. It is part of the temple. So
That was
how they destroyed it was another character who was playing it to max cleric.
Orsino. That was
Orsino.
yeah. Orsino was tough.
Literally asked Porkchop, throw me.
Oh, like a fastball special.
Throw me as in spear
Nice.
to the center of the eye.
It was
Which
pretty.
landed
It was
in
pretty.
that 20. Permanently blinding that eye. The anti-magic field eye. Which the party then opened a can of whoop-ass.
Well,
Oh,
before
yeah.
that,
that was the one I got a
someone
killing
thought
blow
they
on.
cleaved it in
See,
half.
here's the thing. Oh yeah.
Sorry. Before that, what was it hidden by? Wasn't it hidden by something
Like
stupid?
cloak or something.
It was like cloak
You
or some
cleave-
shit.
You cleave something in
It was
half.
invisible.
Yeah,
It started off invisible.
We somehow put a cloak over it or some shit.
Fairy dust.
Yes.
No, fairy fire.
Fairy fire.
Fire.
Fairy
And I-
fire.
Fucking something.
My
Lit it
fair,
up.
I used fairy fire for the first time it actually worked.
So I rolled
I know, right?
for my hits. I nat 20'd, and then because I used to roll for my hits all at once.
Yeah.
I was going to use action surge. So I rolled 3 d20s. All 3 were nat 20s.
Crit, crit, crit.
I was like,
that's insane.
what the fuck? Like, I about flipped the entire table. I was like, holy shit.
You knocked me out of the damn
So-
chair!
I rolled more. I rolled like my hit dice, and I almost maxed out on every one of my hit dice as well.
That's insane.
And I had the blood axe, so I added more to it because of the blood axe, and I was enraged, so it was just a shitload of damage.
It was a whole lot of.
Was it triple digits?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And whenever I hit this thing that was covered in fairy fire, fairy dust, whatever the fuck it's called, I just blew straight through it. I split it in 2
Yeah.
orbs. Like, I split the orb into 2 halves.
Nice.
It hits the ground, and Pork Chop's like, yeah, fuck that thing, I whooped its ass. And then we noticed it was a ball bearing.
Giant ball bearing.
It was a giant fucking ball bearing.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a
It
trap.
was
It
like
was a decoy.
it was a decoy for the actual beholder.
Yeah,
Because the beholder was invisible until fairy
Man.
fire came to him.
yeah.
Fuck you, Frank.
I was so mad.
You've never even
Oh
been my
no,
DM.
there's a worse one. in
You've
this
never
time.
even been my DM, and I have to tell you, fuck you, man. That's rough.
Oh, don't worry.
Oh no.
Here's another aspect of this floor
That one was without loop.
the maze.
Fuck that maze.
The maze.
That thing was amazing.
You just
You had to find your way out of this maze,
Not the
but
fucking helm.
there was the quote unquote, minotaur in the maze.
Isn't that the one where you got
But
something
it
picture?
wasn't a fucking minotaur.
What was it?
It was a sphere of annihilation.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
If
Frank.
it touched you, you died.
I know what it is. It's fucking this.
Yeah, that's why
But-
Porkchop has a helm on his head now.
No, Frank, wasn't that one the maze that also had the Minotaur picture in it?
Yes, it did.
And Viking got sucked into it.
Yes.
No, pork chop. No, it was just Viking. I thought it was pork chop and
No,
Viking.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It got you on the other side, but there were like multiple like mirror statuesque things that were doing it.
Yeah.
So you had to figure out which one, and you were trapped in the mirror version of it. But still, the Sphere of Annihilation was on its way through. So kind of like playing a big old game of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Your Pac-Man wasn't good.
This
But Pac-Man was a fucking orb of annihilation.
Speaking of
Well, instead of it being waka waka waka, it was fuck off, fuck off, fuck off.
Do they move 30 feet around, or is it like a little bit slow? Like 20?
20.
Yeah. That's
It's
still that
20,
shit.
So it's definitely a slow pacing thing, but once it caught up to you, I mean, if you were in its area of effect, if you did pass a save, you were taking like 20 points a
It
day.
ate the blue power pellet. and
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
Once it touched you, you're fucked.
That Minotaur got its ass whooped though. Like the killing blow was about pork chop,
But
and I cleaved his fucking head off.
Mirror.
Oh, well.
But by timing and there during this fight with the Sirak, some of the parties were jumping onto the other floors trying to surround it. Some were trying to find its phylactery in the jars, and I think Belvarix was actually this one, who was literally at the point of just chucking shit into the lava.
Yep.
Now, phylacteries can only be destroyed based on how they were created. They weren't just, you couldn't just destroy a phylactery.
Yeah.
You had to know how it was
So when
made
they say
in order to
if you
destroy
die
it.
by lava, you can bury it in lava.
So, some were trying to just throw these urns. I know Belvarix was one of them, was trying to do it because he couldn't get there. He couldn't get to this point when you had, everybody else kind of on this thing. You had Drax on that line. You had,
I think we used ice, like something
you had
like
Belvarix on it, but it still wouldn't work. I think one person actually it was Drax that fell into the lava pit.
Yeah, that's how
and
he.
died.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first name on the wall of death.
Yeah,
Drax.
yeah, it was. Yeah,
First name on the wall.
first name on a very long fucking list.
Did I take a picture of it?
Yeah.
If it's in the tomb, I think that Draven was. Drax was Will's character.
No,
Yeah.
Draven.
Draven was.
He had Draven, but he also had Drax.
No, Drax was
was
Lance's
Lance.
character.
And Drax fell in the lava.
Yeah.
But I thought Draven died before him.
No, Lance's character died before Draven, and then Lance made a new character.
Well, the start of the Wall of Death was definitely not Drax. Drax
Yeah, it
was
was.
the start.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it was.
the wall of death inside the tomb.
Inside the tomb, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you meant just the initials. Like,
No.
had names.
No, that list was already long as fuck.
Well, yeah, it's like 5 names, but still.
I mean, it was a good bit. It was a lot. That wall of death filled up really fucking well. But the party did manage to destroy the Soulmonger and free and beats the Sirak to a degree. I think he beat.
Yeah, you can only kill a lich so far.
he died, but then he does come back if you don't destroy his phylactery. He
And we never
does come back.
We thought we destroyed it, but
Yeah, we destroyed like 90% of it and forgot the
Didn't-
last 10% or something.
we.
Did-
That's all it takes.
Listen, there was what, like 100 of them bitches, and we threw like 90 of them
Yeah.
in the lava.
But here's the thing you have to think about. As I just told him, how do you think a lich can safeguard its phylactery? If it wasn't created with that, can't you just bury it in the lava? Ain't gonna destroy it.
That was also the same fight. Pork Chop fell in the lava, and I dimension door twice to get us in and out.
But they did destroy it. Now, as it was destroyed and souls were released, you guys knew that the person who gave you this quest from the get-go was going to be alive. And by the time you guys got back, versus when you destroyed it, she literally had 1 to 3 days left
Well,
while she was dead.
Yeah, it was, I'm pretty sure it was
That was
only a
literally
couple
the last
hours.
It was the
Day,
last day.
we-
You guys
Yeah.
didn't go to it. You were,
She only had a few hours left. She didn't have a full day.
I was just saying,
but you guys did ended up, like, you guys did get it. You guys did beat it.
We did
You
it by the
saved
skin of
her
our
alive.
teeth.
Yes.
We'll finish the story.
Now up to this point, Amu is back, and you guys spent a year with Max, her brother, rebuilding Amu back to his full glory. Now, here's a side note. You guys saved Chult. You saved Amu. If you guys didn't do this, Spelljamming would have never happened. Spelljammer's actual main academy is off the island of Chult. That's where Spelljammer got created because Amu was so technologically advanced.
So that was the beginning of it.
We started all the way back
They
there.
started, these guys started across when they left. Through, because Amu was Wakanda in
I
this,
understand, yeah.
in the world. They had such magical advances in structure, in the buildings, and everything. That's how it was. And it wasn't until later when you guys said, hey, you guys did, kind of set it off. That, hey, open the world up, open trade, open all this stuff. Don't let
Which one
Chult
open our
just
ports and stuff like that?
sit by there.
yeah.
You guys did set up, got the trade ports there, taught them all how to do all this. And
Say-
that's how Spelljammer got into effect.
I'm gonna say, if I can intervene for a second, Frank. I believe Rue and Malvarix made it a point that we were going to stay here just to make sure everything
Went
ran
smooth,
smoothly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we,
because
we
you
stayed to make
Max and
sure
them.
it thrived and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you also had, I stayed so I could teach Rue etiquette, help with that. You had
I was training all the people how to
your-
fight
how
and
to
stuff
fight.
like that.
I think there's who else? Like, out of the other party, Rue's, Trent's,
Al
Al, their
stayed.
team, some of them, like, stayed, like, guard of Max.
That was the only three that you guys met.
And that's what I'm
to
saying,
this
but
point.
who else helped teach Max? Like,
I think
They all
Al,
did.
Malvarix, Rue.
You had everybody around did help as far as teaching Max all that stuff on like how to do everything.
I taught her how to be a bad motherfucker.
Fortunately, I taught her how to have fun.
Yeah.
Because
We did teach her how to drink.
we also taught her
That's a
how to jump
useful
off the top of a 30-foot waterfall.
Yeah. We got in trouble for that one.
But,
I remember that.
But
We had a
okay,
lot of trouble
but
for that
I mean,
one.
honestly,
We was bitching after that one.
with everything done, and now we're this year in before you guys set sail back to go back to the mainland.
On the airboat.
Let's introduce our other character who was in this fray.
You mean fuck engine.
God damn it! I knew it was coming too.
Yes.
I'm surprised it lasted this long. Fuck you guys.
Here's you. No,
Oh, poor Kruger.
Later
We're gonna
this
put an RIP for Kruger. Whatever.
we do.
Please, Marina, please remember to do that. RIP Kruger.
Kruger?
His
Yeah,
dog,
his dog,
the
dude,
one
he
that
like
went halfway up the ship.
He fucking floundered over the
Oh,
fucking
God.
airboat all
Leech
fucked
when
up.
the ship turned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But let's go in timber. At this point, you were playing Henshin. Now, who is Henshin?
Henshin is also Goliath. Now, to be fair, this is the first time I've ever played character. It was the first time I played D&D. Had no clue. I literally made it.
It was mine too.
There are a lot of firsts.
I literally made this character 10 minutes before we did a one-shot. Pork Chop's favorite one-shot, by the way. Snowball. That's a whole nother story. So my character was a Goliath, but of magical meat. And wasn't really casted out, but the family that I had no way of helping me grow because I had an ability that only the elder of the village had. So they took me to someone that could train.
The elder of the village? Egar?
Dad was still around there yet, and way to ruin the fucking.
He was around
Yeah.
somewhere, sleeping.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff.
Yeah.
On logs under one.
So
Yeah.
I was off learning the magical arts while since dipshit over here ruined the spoiler, or he was training to run our village. So eventually, we'd completely forgotten that either one existed.
We were
And-
taking apart from each other at like what,
Very
we were
young
like
age.
13 or 14 or something like that.
Somewhere around there, I
It
think.
was pretty young.
Yeah.
Like we just got during
Like,
teenage
was it-
years and
I was gonna say, I think it was like 13 and 10.
Isn't it because your village
Oh,
was
yeah.
destroyed?
no.
No. Oh.
No, the village never got
Yeah.
well, see, the village did get destroyed, but it was
But
after
it was
that.
prior to that.
It was after that.
It was
yeah.
Anyway,
anyhow. So was it paladin or was it warlock? Ended up becoming the padlock,
Yes.
which that should be about this time that we're getting to that point of the story. But yeah, there was a couple fun moments I can think of from that one.
Padlock. So fun.
I know. So if we're gonna go with a good storyline involved tension, and how about because the rough part was I was starting to play right as COVID hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of video chats with Frank on
I was way
You
before
played before
COVID.
COVID.
yeah. No, I played right in December.
No, you played with us
No,
way
you
before
played
that.
Yeah.
You were there the whole time with us before COVID.
Yeah, you were playing whenever we worked at Chili's together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I started COVID.
No.
Well, it was a little bit before that.
That was like a
literally
year
when
before that.
that was so that December when everybody got massively sick. That's when COVID was technically started in December. It just didn't go into effect until like
March.
like 3
We
months.
played
ago.
before
Yeah. So
that.
anyway,
We were
Anywho.
playing all up to that.
Yeah, because we were playing in my house at the time.
that's right.
Yeah.
Your old house.
Yeah.
Your old
So
house.
it's a
My
year
old
prior.
house.
But anyway, so I think because everyone had picked out like a god and whatnot at this point, I had not,
Yeah.
and probably one of the best traps that Frank ever had in the entire tomb. It was a puddle, and the only way you could get across is if you held a sword going in the puddle before you crossed through it. Because if you didn't, I forget what happened.
I don't remember puddle.
I remember a puddle. Because Pork Chop got attacked by whatever the hell it was in the puddle because he was like, it's a puddle, who cares? It wasn't got it.
Oh, it was the ooze.
It was an ooze?
It was not
Oh.
even ooze.
Oh, fucking Ivan is.
Yeah. Yeah, Pork Chop got fucked up on that one because again, and Pork Chop smash, no thinky. And Frank used this way of this being the way I got my god, and we all had a god weapon. Was
Oh yeah, you had their power and somewhat of that set.
so my god was the Vondra, the change.
Whoa, we
no.
didn't get that far yet.
Yeah, we did.
No.
In the tomb?
No. Yes. No.
I thought
Yes,
we,
no.
No, because you had the trickster god.
I'm
You
so
went to any other god
confused.
there, you lost your abilities. So yeah, we did not get to
Oh,
that
is that
point yet.
after the tomb?
That's after the tomb.
Oh, my bad. I'm spoiling
No.
the story.
I know what happened because you wanted. See, this is the part that is kind of like when I played DM too hard.
I know what
Because
you're
when
talking about.
Astarak died, he dropped his staff.
Oh my god.
It was a staff of power.
Oh, yeah.
No, I had already
This
got
is
my
what I was
god
telling
weapon
you about. I
before
didn't know. We were waiting to talk about
this.
it.
Yes, I did. Sword of change?
Yeah.
Because remember, I was running around with just a spear and a shield.
Yeah, you didn't get that. you wanted the staff. You wanted the staff power. Now this is where during DM time, because this is when they were rebuilding Chult, and they were greeted by the first. Well, this is like the second or third time, kind of like how Strahd showed up.
Yeah.
This was like the coronation.
And like
Yeah.
during the coronation, you guys heard, or during it was during the coronation.
He was at the back of the.
It was during the coronation that a figure walked into the room. It did not want the coronation to happen.
Uh-oh. Boss is gone.
That was not the boss.
Intermission.
Well, hold on. And no, that was after. That was also after.
No, actually, that is Viking calling.
Oh,
So I don't.
is he coming?
I have no idea. Anyhow, but here's my thing.
Balfender's just broke through the door.
Oh, baby.
Staff of power.
Staff
Yeah,
of power.
I hated that. I was really mad at that.
This is where I had to play DM.
Very angry at that.
And
Because he
Very
wanted the
angry.
staff to power. Got that. And I believe this is where Asrek did start to come back.
Yes.
Yep.
Because this was before, before Asrek becomes fully, before coming fully back, it becomes a demolition.
yeah.
This was one of my rookie mistakes.
And this is where hardcore metagaming came into effect, where I said absolutely not.
Again, rookie mistake on
Yeah,
my part.
yeah.
So, pre-looking through, our little break of, in between sessions, he figured out what the Staff of Power is, what it can do.
Hold on.
Oh, I know
Hold
what
on,
it
to be
can do.
fair,
It's
this is the
fucking-
point you told us to all pick one item.
Correct. I get the fact. Okay.
I didn't understand
You
at
wanted
the time.
Azarak's staff. Here's the thing. When we were, like in that session of the coronation of, Azarak starting to like revive back, drops the staff down. Pension wants it. Timber looked at it and knew what the fuck it was capable of before, like, hey, I want it, I'm gonna tune to it, shit like that,
Or
before we figure out
identify.
what it can do. So, I stepped in as DM.
May I interject for a second? Because exactly how it happened is Porkchop said, fuck that staff. It would belong
'Cause
to him.
I got,
So-
because you killed him.
I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna smash it off of something to
So no one
break
can
it,
have it.
so
Yeah.
nobody else can have it, because it might turn somebody else into him. So fuck this thing, and I went to break it, and that's whenever he was like, no, don't do that, because if you do it, it'll blow up and cause this much damage.
Okay, I was gonna
I was
That's
gonna
a
let him
mistake.
destroy it, but then when he bleeped that out, I was like,
He was gonna roll for damage. And
Yeah.
so he's like, okay. Pretty much a nuke went off.
I maxed
There
it
went
out.
the coronation. Everybody
I
in the
said, fuck it,
coronation
and I
died.
maxed it out.
The only one that survived.
No. Everybody in the coronation
No, I
died.
think everybody died.
No,
Yeah,
Pork Chop survived because he was
Yeah.
raged.
Yeah, you were. You were redoing.
Oh yeah, I was literally.
You only survived because you were angry.
Yeah.
But
That's
not Max,
great.
the kingdom,
Oh.
everybody.
Like
in the
everybody
kingdom
there who was at the coronation, Max, her little brother,
All the king's horses and all the king's.
Essentially, everybody
Pretty
got
much.
neutered.
Everybody flocking back into Omni.
Thanos
Thanos.
snap.
Reestablished.
Yeah.
And literally, I did pull a Thanos snap, and that was the first time I let the party experience what TPK was,
Oh.
And not to mitigate.
and what metagame is.
It wasn't technically TPK. That was last.
Well, that's a valuable lesson.
But I did figure out. I did play it back and gave him a second chance. And
In the form of a nightmare.
it was by the end of that is when a cloaked figure wielding 3 great swords during the coronation was behind it. Nobody nobody noticed he was there. And literally wanted the crown for himself and literally stabbed Max through and through with a great sword. That was like one of the big moments that Grievous was part of this game.
But we didn't know it was Grievous. That was also in the nightmare, so when we woke up, Tristana panicked and she was like, have you seen a cloaked figure? Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And everybody else was like, I had the same dream. And
You went to Max's room.
I disguised as Max. I told her, you stay behind and I will portray to be you. If someone dies, it'll be me and not you. So this way Max would still...
That right there
Right.
was that pinnacle of like the first time of who Grievous is.
Yeah.
Now, before we dive into Grievous and further into it, we're going to take a short break. We're going to see you guys in a little bit.
Bye.
Break time.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Porkchop here from D20 Misfits. As you can already tell from previous videos, we have a sponsor by the name of Jelly. Like to talk to you about them real quick. They have great energy, focus, concentration, all that. They have no jitters. You are laser focused, brain food. It's all that, all the above. It's amazing. It's awesome. I'm not really a huge energy drink person, so I tried this stuff. I love it. It's awesome. Y'all need to check it out. W.com and use our promo code D20 Misfits 10. Have a good one.
Three, two, one.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you guys
Hi.
got replenished
I missed you.
on everything.
Don't lie, you didn't.
So, after all of that, the year in Chult, go back to the mainland
That was fun.
to where a lot of things happened. I'm only going to touch about certain big things, like certain things that were there. I know one of the big this is more of a collab for everybody instead of going one-on-ones, just for the sake of our time frame. So, real quick, I know that when we got to the mainland, you guys explored. You had the Derulian Empire and Jorhas domain. They were kind of in the middle of a civil war. or in a war between, which kingdom would overrule. You guys did meet up with Rue's crew.
The Rue Crew?
The Rue Crew.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Rue's crew. And I totally did not think about
The
that.
crew of the Rue.
But Rue was like the leader, I guess, to a degree. And
Each of the bird group.
they uncovered something, but didn't have full confirmation of what was going down. They know about something dealing with the Divine Gate and how everything was coming into place, and how Vecna was trying to find a way to come through the Divine Gate or break it. Party went a lot of twists and turns, and went to explore where they could find stuff like that. They told me back.
Oh.
One thing that they encountered was a village, and this is one of the saddest moments in this campaign.
This is
In
the
campaign
part
one.
where they, before obviously after they left Schultz.
We were doing, I was going in between individual story arcs, and we were coming across Tristana and Reyna.
Yeah, because Reyna,
It
when
was
they left
Reyna
Schultz.
was in here, and
Reyna
Tristana
went
stayed
with them.
behind, and we met Reyna.
Yeah.
Reyna was looking for her husband and kid. Caught wind that her husband was working inside for Vecna's release. Was working for Grievous, as it were. This was a complete abandoned town. I wanted to do something for Halloween and show these guys that it's not that D&D is not all about combat and storytelling. That there are a couple of times where you have to make successful rolls to survive.
Or you have to know when to run.
So, or you pretty much know when to run, because these guys, at this point in time, everything I've thrown at them, the King of Feathers, Asirak, the Atropol, I remember the name now, it's an Atropol, was the name of the monster, the god baby.
Baby God.
So everything they threw at them. So I wanted to throw something at these guys that you couldn't just fight against. So
we kicked everything's ass.
as we got
Oh,
there,
no, wait, this is prior to
this
my-
village, as they started to explore, they started to know that there were undead hordes everywhere.
It was like The Walking Dead. Like, you remember? Have you ever watched Walking
Think Walking
Yeah,
Dead.
I've watched
Think
it all.
Like
think
how the wave.
Silent Hill.
But
David Dead.
Resident Evil, all that stuff, to where
Yeah.
there were just hordes of zombies and you need to be quiet to sneak through.
That was hell.
They were. They were getting by. You guys successfully, as group roles, were making it work. It wasn't until the end, getting into the longhouse, is when I believe it was Hyacinth.
It's always the players.
The heavy suited armor people had rolls with disadvantage and rolled shitty. And hordes of zombies were flooding the longhouse. You guys had to successfully board it up and withstand the
siege.
siege.
Wasn't there a gem dragon or something?
Yeah, that was the dragon that came down was turning everyone.
No, it was underground.
At that point in time, with the zombies all converging onto this house, it was when the underground broke free and a gem dragon showed. This was before there was difference between, you just had the chromatic dragons and you had Bahamut. And that's when they started putting the metallics in as far as, like, gem.
This is when they were starting to tease Fizbin.
But I also think at some point Asarak showed back up, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Or someone,
That's-
he was like,
Whenever
going,
he made
was
the
controlling
thing
them.
that you're gonna say. The fucking 20-foot tall mass of bullshit.
Oh, is that a zombie clot?
No.
I've used the.
No, he was-
Devious.
Well, he was trying to
He
make
was
another...
controlling the wave of the dead.
He
Yeah.
controlled all the waves of the dead to come towards us. But then he formed them all into one big ball of fucking giant zombie.
Oh, so yeah, it was a clock.
Yeah, it was the zombie clot. That's right.
Yeah,
And I started ripping the
I've
fucking
used them,
the
they
roof
are
off the
fucking
fucking.
nice.
Right.
Roundhouse,
So,
roundhouse.
yes, that was, like, the gist was up there trying to get out. And with a Sirac there,
I stepped on that guy's tools.
a Grievous showing up, them summoning the dragon to really fuck with you guys. There was an indication, I believe, that Reyna found that there was a secret door that went downstairs
it was in the fireplace.
into an underground. So, yeah, it was in the fireplace. There was a hidden door. It slid up. As you guys were doing that, this is where the saddest part of the moment comes.
They should be having reinforcements.
You guys were waiting on the airship to show up to give support to get the fuck out. But you know that once this secret door shut on itself, the only way was to open it from the inside.
Was the reinforcements? It was, I think, Rue showed up beforehand to try to like give us cover to fight at least the dragon or the clot. And the door, the door flew open. He said, "Go."
You had Rue, Alan, V.
Yes.
At this point in time.
V
was. See, this is where I was entertaining the Wild Mount book and the new classes that they had. So V was a wizard. Of power.
Oh, yeah.
He was a chrono wizard. He helped the party out a lot into figuring stuff out. As far as spells and stuff like that go. This, just thinking about it now, is kind of just like, holy shit. As the zombie hordes were coming through and the dragon pretty much breathing down and trying to destroy this house so that more zombies can get in, Rue staying back, trying to turn undead and push him back and stuff like that. As you guys were trying to get in one at a time before this door was starting to shut again, it was at the last end that Rue pushed the remaining of you guys in there. And the door shut.
No.
And
No, that's not what happened. The door didn't shut yet. But we were like, we have to shut the goddamn door. And
we were trying to get rid
as
of
soon as most of us made it down there, we're like, guys, come on. There was Balverix and Porkchop that were at the door, and they were trying to figure, okay, if they could just open it back up, we'd have to destroy the mechanism. So they slammed the gears inside the door, so even if it opened, it wouldn't open. And as soon as they cracked it and the door started to slide down, Rue flew across past their view.
Me and Balverix were holding the door
They were
for
trying,
Rue.
and it was crushing them, closing
It was
it.
literally crushing us, and Porkchop was going to die. He didn't give a fuck. He
And
was
it
gonna
slipped
let
their
Rue-
grasp.
Yeah,
As
it
soon as
just-
it closed,
it dropped.
all
I
you
was
hear
hoping
is
that
like
too.
just the
It was three
slow
of us.
scratching of like cat claws, and then it stops and blood just pools under the door.
you did hear the
Meow.
just
crowning
scratching.
the scratching at
Yeah.
the doors trying to get out, and you can hear in the background the zombies breaking
They're
in.
pouring in.
And him trying to, you can hear the divine magic going off, and all of a sudden everything goes silent. And as Balverix and Porkchop were at that door, like, what the fuck happened? They
They're
started
trying to
seeing
pull it open.
Yeah, we're trying to, like,
a
rip it
pool
open.
of red crimson ichor come through the crack of the door.
And the ship made it.
I was starting to like Rue in this
After
whole
that,
retelling.
You know
That
what's
is when Rue died.
It gets better.
Um,
Ship shows up.
Like
After
moments
that-
after.
During that, they did find her husband.
And more support.
And more support because the ship did go, but it was trying to hurry up, get it, because the ship landed a little bit and was hovering and was hurrying up, and you were trying to do it because this dragon was coming. They weren't waiting; they were taking off. So
DM, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Why didn't you turn her husband into a zombie?
Oh, no,
that would have been devastating.
Here's where it gets bad. Raina's like, I finally got him back because he had a kind of madness on him. That's why he was doing what he was told.
Yeah, that's gonna kill him.
She tried to pull him. She was an arcane trickster, so she was a rogue arcane trickster, and he was the opposite. It was the other arcane.
Arcane Knight or Eldritch Knight.
He was a rogue too, I think, but she was arcane.
Maybe assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was arcane assassin.
Yeah.
And she's trying to pull him up on the ship, and he gives her a kiss, shoves her on the ship, and tells them to get the hell out. And she's like being held back while they're going against the horde.
And then they tore him apart.
No, he made it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like the ship was shooting their ballistas and stuff. And
yeah, we
they
were firing the ballista. It was Raina's ship.
Let's see,
But they were there, and what it was is they were trying to get to us. They went to a safe haven, and they managed to grab. I think Al or V managed to grab Rue's body during the aftermath and jump onto that airship at the last minute.
that was Al.
Al, because Al had wings at that point in time, and went up and got onto the ship and a lifeless, body. And I think that was the first time I played a certain song to you guys.
We all know it.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, you'll know it.
That was one of the big defining moments.
You and Viking both bawled your eyes out. I think you almost cried too, Frank.
I think I got up and left the table.
I know, oh god, that's fucking song. But,
yeah.
Don't cry, guys.
I know that whenever that happened, me and Viking, like, we almost were, like, hugging each other, because we was fucked up, man. And then Pork Chop took a turn for the worst for
It was literally one of the
little bits.
quietest airship rides to the safe haven that was like just there, because everybody was in, like, we did like a moment of silence just because of it, just because of what happened.
We went to break and nobody said shit.
Yeah, we went to break. Everybody walked away, kind of like, what the fuck just happened? Coming back, and it kicked. It kicked right on.
That's where we first had this song play. One of
Like,
our saddest
found
songs
this
the first
song.
time. But the thing was, you have your music, and you never really picked it, just played on its own. But every single time something bad or sad or heartfelt, it always played
His
on
music
track
was
by
always
its
on
own.
point.
It was right on
Yeah.
point. As soon as something happened, the next song would
The
play.
music that I played through,
It just magically
here,
hit.
Yeah.
it always lined up with whatever the story plot was.
Yeah.
And
It was
sometimes
scary.
it was intentional, some days it was by accident.
And it just hit harder.
But here you guys did go to a safe haven of pretty much Rue's crew, the Ivory Valor.
The Ivory Valor?
Yeah.
That's from ours. You've mentioned that.
Yes, Sat did mention that.
Yeah.
Because
That's where we're going to
at
send
that
the
point
city.
in time, Grievous, it was his crew. Rue, Al, Gladriel, Sarah, V, Trent, Clunk.
Clunk? This is the first I'm hearing of Clunk.
Clunk was an orc barbarian that we later changed to Echo Knight.
Oh, I love the Echo Knight.
So that was the first time.
If you thought Pork Chop was stupid or Igor's dumb, you should have met Clunk.
Because these guys,
Motherfucker was about 10 shades. Yeah,
you
shades
had
straight on
Grievous, you
straight.
had Sarah,
He was dumb.
you had Rue, Gladriel, Trent, Al, Krell. Sorry, Krell. And V. Crux was Lance's other character that didn't go into flourishing. But this was their crew. This was their base of operations, the Outer Valley. There was also Belverix's home. Before it was like fell and got redid, if you want to call it that way. So basically, with everything that happened there, as they come off the airship, pulling Rue's lifeless body. Pulling Rue's lifeless body out.
Shoshana lost her shit.
They placed it on, like a table that was a stone slab that was animated as a makeshift stretcher, as an arcane stretcher, and they did bring it out, and that's when they left him there, literally at the port, to oversee all of Exandria, where the Outer Valley stood high in the mountains. This massive spire. And they left him there, was going to prepare, there they were doing, I believe,
ceremony.
They were doing a ceremony for him, like a funeral. They housed it in the training grounds in the arena that they had. More of a coliseum. There they were going, that they did the funeral rites and they left him, they left the body there, and let it, be. Give it like a day, and then they would, the clerics there would dispose of the body.
Wasn't this around the time of the tourney too?
Yes.
The gods?
Yes. This was the tourney of the gods, held at the Outer Valor.
Which Raina's only god was Tinder.
Which was, everybody who fought for their god. So everybody around the table each had a different god that they were following. You had Torm, you had Avandra,
Wild Mother.
Which
was mine.
Mine was Tinder, so.
You were more of a Patreon than anything, because Tinder, from Chult, the dragon from Chult that they got to leave, to go to her home to live up in the mountains, and they made a pact.
So, side story, yeah. They want that dragon that he said they wanted to kill, and everybody's sneaking around. I was like, wait a minute, I know how to speak Draconian, and I have freakishly high persuasion. She persuaded the dragon to leave.
So you swiped right on Tinder.
Yes.
The dwarves wanted this dragon gone, so they could have their minds back. She said, I have a mountain behind my kingdom. Beautiful, plenty of space. Everybody already thinks that it's cursed and creatures are up there. No one goes up there. No one will bother you. You can have your horde up there. And every so often, I can make my own donation up to you as my patron. You will be my patron. She didn't follow a god. She made a contract.
That's
she said, okay, well then you will follow me. I am your patron now. Okay.
That dragon fight.
She literally, there were weapons. Porkchop hated it because there were weapons in her stash. If you killed him, there was like even a big ass battle axe, swords, gold, on as far as you could see.
Rob her bad.
And as soon as she said deal and signed the last stitch of her signature, it swirled up like a vortex and she was gone.
I was pissed.
The thing
Except for the snow globe.
Tinder was a red young dragon.
Yeah.
And during that time of, during that tournament fighting for gods is when the gods started looking at these guys. They started to look at the party and go, the fuck?
That's what the
gods... These guys might help us. So they started to weave in. Well, Mother started to weave in. Avandra definitely was entering in. Most of the gods, Torm, Bahamut.
Didn't Bahamut tell Tinder herself, if you do good?
Yes.
That she would
that was of this nature of you guys fighting this and fighting. That's like when you guys first had your real battle experience with the group. And, Grievous's group was known as the Seven Deadly Sins.
Wait, is that no?
Each one had, each one was wrathful, lust, greed, gluttony. Everyone had a specific trait. I know Trent was lust.
No.
Yep.
Which
Yeah.
one was Tristana? Tristana turned out to be a sin.
That was later on.
That was later on,
You
but at
played
the time,
D&D.
You're
That's
skipping
right.
ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't remember if it was during the
Um,
turn.
It wasn't Rue Pride.
Yes,
Yes.
Bruce Pride,
because of the lion.
Al's Wrath.
But basically, when this came down to it, the final, because there was a bout that was, that was supposed to be with Rue, but eventually it was forfeited. Right when Grievous was about to forfeit the match to the victor, I forget who was fighting.
Firestone.
Was going to fight him. Everybody heard a massive roar. And Rue came back to life. Nice. Full on Aslan resurrection type ordeal, mane in full bloom. He was reawakened.
Alright.
And that's what started to get crazy for you guys.
So we were like, what the fuck?
Because even after like Revivify, Resurrection, shit like that,
They dumped every healing
like it wasn't
spell.
taking place because like everybody was thinking that Assirak's back, maybe the Soulmonger's coming again, it's getting rebuilt, and that's why Rue wasn't able to revive. So how he became through divine ascension into just awakening. That's when stuff started to get a little bit more interesting. And then we jump back to Volscary, where Tinder was in there. There, during this time, the mom and dad, you're the king and queen.
Oh, they were longer.
No, they were.
It was Tristana that was queen,
Yes.
and Trent was the king.
Tristana was queen there, and at this point in time is when Trent and Tristana became very close. And the proposal of marriage came up.
Pork Chop got
to
pissed
where,
off.
To where Trent and Tristana would rule
Didn't
the
show up for a
kingdom.
couple sessions.
Actually, yes.
We ruled the kingdom until pretty much Trent was acting king, and then it later became to where these two did fall in love, did get married, and he became the full king of Volscary. During that time,
Popped out of Lucy.
no,
Not yet.
that wasn't
Not quite.
that's not up yet. But during this time, they were let know that the party, through Trent and Tristana, that there was a manor that was housed for the guest house of pretty much the playhouse for the kids if they ever wanted to not sleep in the castle anymore.
It was a big
wanted
house.
away. It was a mansion, kind of like a plateau or
Plantation house.
plantation house.
But there was something with the house.
So the house had one hell of a butler.
Pork Chop learned not to piss on the roses.
He was very
Tulips, whatever.
strong
Yeah.
of his flowers and would not take anybody fucking with him.
He didn't like you doing anything
At,
unetiquette.
at this point, he was kind of like the Jarvis of the house.
He was
Yeah.
Jarvis.
He
and
knew
Sebastian
he
Fields
knew
in there.
everything. But at this point in time, though, is when the party did go to Porkchop and Henshin's place because they knew that their tribe was dying, didn't really have a home to go to, and you guys had them come with you
This is about the time
to live in this mansion. And what was before, it was shortly after you guys discovered this mansion through fluke of the library and all that stuff there, and with the butler there, I forget the name.
I could start with
It wasn't Mookin, I know that.
No, Mookin was
Mookin.
the poor freaking Goliath.
No, he was some like I forget the name.
He gave him some sophisticated name.
But what happened was through him and the other spots there was pretty much a panic room. Or secrets of the house that weren't fully discovered. The party did uncover it. And it led downstairs to a shrine. This shrine, however, was not like any other shrine or temple for the gods. In fact, there were 7 doors. Because there were 7 of you.
And all 7 of us went to a
And
different
in the center was a fountain that had all of them together in like a band. Kind of like, oh shit.
What I'm thinking
I don't want to fuck it up because it's kind of like that statue for the military with the flag and all the soldiers holding it up. I forget the battle.
See, I think of whenever you said that, I imagine there's like
That's,
this
I know
statue.
what you're talking about. Oh, that's the one from Pork
But
Chop.
they were all
Help me out
back
here.
to back, and it was circular, wasn't
The
it?
one we all know. Oh, they're raising the flag.
Yeah, I know. I can't.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying.
Is that-
But I think you said they were all back
What's
to
it
back, so it was circular, and they were like.
Right, it was.
I was thinking of the Avengers personally, like. Can't
Not so much like in a line, but like all together.
Yeah.
Like kind of meld, but not. And they were wondering, like, why the fuck are there statues of them
In a place that wasn't discovered.
in a place that's old and ancient? It was then there that kind of like the butler kind of like revealed himself a little bit and said to each of you had to pick a door.
Iwo Jima.
Pretty much had to break a door that you guys were, in fact, along the lines of demigods that were hidden as a failed safe. In time, during this discovery, you guys figured out the divine gate. The gods here, since all of you followed a different god, the gods took part of themselves and made you. And put you guys in the world with your own stories. Finding out down the line with Grievous, with a Sirac and stuff like that, that the Divine Gate, there were locks and there were keys. And it turned out to be the 2 groups. The group of the Sins and the group of Dragon's Lament. Were keys and locks that if they were to destroy each other, the Divine Gate would be released and the gods would reign again into the world and the calamity would restart because Vecna would lay waste again.
I think with this, they actually spoke with.
I know, I'm kind of like just fast forwarding a little.
Yeah.
Because we literally are crunching. Basically, and it came down to that you guys and the other group said, fuck him. Fuck the gods. And literally, as long as we stayed away from each other and act as friends and not try to kill each other, because they were always pulled to each other. Every one of them was pulled to another one of these guys.
In all fairness, Pork Chop did not trust Rue, Al, V, none of them.
He didn't trust the other side.
He
That's
didn't.
what they
Every
did.
time they came in, he didn't.
The 7 deadly sins, the way I had them, I made them as counterparts to each of the players.
Yeah.
Like if you had a spellcaster, I had an Eldritch Knight that could warcast and fuck your day up.
Right.
We had all those. And you guys did figure out that that's why, you guys had to act as friends and you guys forged that bond. But there were times that Grievous has stepped in, either mentally, through dream, or showed himself. And literally wanted to destroy this. Contents on Grievous, as you somewhat know from, episode 91. Grievous is a character I made for Advanced D&D. AD&D when I first started playing. I played that one. He was Grievous. We kind of abruptly ended that session.
Yeah.
And didn't continue it. And didn't really have anywhere else, like anybody to DM for us to replay. So later down the road when we did that, I remade him for 3.5. And that's what we did. And that campaign, I wanted at that point in time, that's when like Legion came out and shit like that. So I was like, man, I really want to make like a guardian angel or like an archangel, these battle motherfuckers. And I talked to my DM, and I was like, I want something like this to happen. And we were looking through the books and trying to figure out what would work. And we looked at the Prestige book. 3.5, Dragon Disciple. I was a follower of Bahamut. This was right in my eye. But the prerequisite was to be able to cast first level Divine and first level Arcane. This is when Grievous became an Oathbreaker. They didn't have that in 3.5. But I lost my Paladin abilities and went into Sorcerer.
You were setting the trend for breaking oaths.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty fucking much.
So at the end of this, at the end of that campaign that I was playing with him, we went all the way to the very end. At this point in time, Grievous got 3 greatswords out of this. His main one that he got from his dad, or his foster dad. 2 that was made, that were just normal greatswords that he got at this point in time. He got 1 that was cold iron, and 1 that was not adamantine, but mithril. No, cold iron silver. Sorry, I'm totally wrong with you. 1 was cold iron, 1 was silver to bypass different DRs back in 3.5. And I had the point with the blacksmith because I was a blacksmith and I was also an alchemist. And I was able to combine the 2 greatswords into a double-bladed staff.
Jesus, that's fucking cool.
At that point in time, too, I did enchant my original sword to become a dancing sword, to where I can throw it out and it can float on its own. We've seen that.
So you can have 3 fucking swords going.
I have 3 swords because I took the feat monkey grip.
Well, here's a question I have for you. That broken sword, which one is that?
That's his father's.
That's the father one.
That was his grandfather's.
Well, that's his foster father's sword. That's the one that has his soul trapped into it. That became the cold iron sword.
Okay.
That's broken. It just, it is made of different materials. Somebody were to inspect it, like in our sessions coming forward. But yes, that was that one. He still holds his dancing one because he got it. The broken one was the dancing sword to begin with, because it was sentient, but it broke.
Don't dance no more.
And then he transferred that. He transferred that enchantment to another sword. At the end of that campaign that I was playing with my friends.
What were your friends? Fuck
I became the Dragon Disciple. I was, Paladin, Sorcerer, Dragon Disciple, fully maxed out. I had wings, breath weapon, shit like that to go. So at the end, last session of the campaign, we were battling a Belor. No, sorry, it's a Pithrin, because it had Vorpal Sword. At this point in time, Grievous had a Griffin as a mount. Had Figurine of Wondrous Power, which were the twin golden lions. and a necklace of wound closure. So, at this point in time, Grievous was the frontline dude. He was the tank. Because A for one, not a lot of people showed up to the last thing because they couldn't make it, so we played it regardless. And one by one, the party died facing this pit fiend. It was Grievous and the pit fiend to the end. And the pit fiend won. They cut off Grievous's head with a nat 20 roll of his local sword. You can't stop that.
No, that is.
However, there's a little secret for you guys. If you ever look at Satori's neck, it is scarred around. Now, because the parafluid of wound closure
You just said that you can't survive.
the necklace of wound closure repairs and heals
Oh shit! Okay.
you. So I asked my DM, like, okay, the necklace of wound closure, how does this fucking technically work? I know I'm beheaded, I know I'm dead. But is there a slight chance that it would be reground? Because let's roll for it. I rolled a nat 20.
So
There was a sliver of skin so thin that it looked like I was fully decapitated, but over time, I healed up. So,
on a
Grievous came back into the world, but our campaign was over. We ended up, I hit the striking blow, same time he hit his killing blow.
Yeah.
So, we beat the guy, the same time the whole party got wiped.
It was a win with a TPK.
True. And
When PK.
little did we know that Grievous was still alive. So, throughout this time, and I started to play with other groups of friends. Pretty much, it turned out to be the main core group, and then, until now.
Yeah.
We played D&D like every fucking day. Every time we had a day off, we play. At one point, we all had a day off. We literally played for 12 hours straight. We played all fucking
glorious.
day. It was hilarious. We did take a break for ordering pizza and shit like that, but we played literally 24 hours. It was fucking epic.
We've been talking about doing that one day.
We have been. I think what we want to do is, I think it be definitely a live event.
I feel like that we have to live stream.
Gamer Life. Go on there, grab donations. Hey, we'll play for 24 hours if you donate X amount of money.
To Twitch we go.
No, that's the thing they do in May or June or July during the summertime. Gamer Life goes off.
There's something else I want to talk to you about.
Joe Manganiello goes to Pittsburgh and plays in the Children's Hospital and plays D&D with the kids.
He's a sweet man.
He is. He's great. But at this point in time, we were playing other stuff, and I made Grievous the antagonist.
Didn't you say because of that it drove him mad?
Yes and no, because throughout multiple different campaigns I ran, somewhere down the line, he gets his head taken off. But nobody takes the fucking necklace off of him. So I make those rolls. So at one point in time, Lance and Matt were playing two homebrewed SDR classes that I thought were cool as shit. But then I realized, no. This was why every DM banded arcane archers in 3.5 in the game.
Yeah, that's
Because
probably why
they
are so nerfed in 5.
In 5.
Yeah.
In 5 they're nerfed. At the end, at level 10, the prestige class of arcane archer, you had death arrow. As long as you hit and they failed to save, they died instantly.
That's
what the
that is OP as fuck.
Yes. Death arrow was stupid in 3.5 if you maxed out the prestige class of arcane archer, because at level 4 or 5 you had phase arrow. You could literally shoot through walls. And
I would love that.
Well,
now.
no, because listen, at level 8 you had seeking arrow, so every arrow became a magic missile. And honed.
I had a cool ass arrow for pork chop.
No, literally, it honed. So you could phase.
So it was literally shoot an arrow with magic missile,
wall, and it would literally find its target and hit. Yes, it's stupid. And then at the end, it became a death arrow. So yeah, they became so OP that most DMs banded Arcane Archers. So naturally, these guys wanted to play an Assassin.
That was Matt Turner's character, right?
Matt and Lance both played Assassins.
Okay.
Assassins were when Assassin's Creed came out. So naturally, somebody made a class
For Assassin's Creed.
from Assassin's Creed. And here's the thing: during the final battle with Grievous, one of the party members stayed hidden. You can stay hidden for 3 whole rounds while studying your target. You can land a death blow.
Oh no!
So that should happen.
That shit happens.
I was gonna say,
And then that's when like the DM in me was like, "Fuck my life, they're Arcane Archers." No. So I made that as a fluke, and he's remained alive. This is his 3rd or 4th campaign that Grievous has reshown himself. Every time he's died, like Chad was saying, every time he's died, he went mad.
pork chop.
Well, it would probably drive you fucking crazy.
If we're gonna
So-
be the actual whole barbarian and raid the motherfucker.
So here's the thing. Coming to this point now, closer to the end of this campaign, the last campaign that we did. This campaign, there was no ifs and buts. They went to Xhorhas, the dark city. This dark city, dark elves, all matter of monsters increase, like your minotaurs, your orcs, your goblins, all the non-pretty races.
Yes.
Okay. So all the non-pretty races went to here. So this city was always under darkness because of spell work. Always under darkness.
And the only
So it was always nighttime. There was never daylight. Close to it, a couple miles away from it, was the actual site of the original Calamity. This is where, if you watch Critical Role, this is the
Barb Fields.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is when the floating city was crash landing, when they were doing the pre-calamity of Exandria.
Oh.
This is
yeah,
when-
Yeah, it's one of the.
This is when the girl took over as DM from Dimension 20,
Yeah, I know.
with
Exactly
Brennan and all
what
them,
you're
and Matt Mercer played a character.
talking about. Yeah.
And you had like Adler's first night.
Yeah.
It was all about that. This is when the
yeah, I've watched
footage
all
there,
that. Yeah,
and
I
the
got
calamity
you.
was showing with the gods raining down. This is what Divine Gate led up to. So this was a powerful site that had a lot of meaning, had a lot of ancient magic still attached to it. This is where Grievous wanted to go to destroy the Divine Gate by having a massive fight between the Sins and Dragon's Lament. At this point in time, though, Grievous killed half of them. Al, Trent, V, and Rue were the only ones remaining. They banded up with them to go and take on Grievous.
So Clunk didn't make it.
No.
no.
He went clank.
So, the thing was,
No, he went complete.
as the final battle was about to begin between Grievous, those guys, and you guys, words were exchanged before the battle, like, terms of surrender and shit like that. Always the day before a battle, you always do the terms of surrender
Yeah.
or whatever. That happened. The parlay, yeah.
Yep.
The thing was, and he actually got a couple of people.
2.
He only got 2. But what was said was that he made very good deals with people. 2 in particular, with Pork Chop and Shaitan.
Fuck pork chop.
If Pork Chop and Shaitan were to bow down. He wanted to take the heavy hitters out. Belverix at this point went through a ritual to become a Platinum Dragonborn. The first time to do it, the ritual actually existed because I looked it up. And he actually completed it. So he became the Platinum Dragonborn. And he did come to realize that Grievous is called the Three-Winged Dragon because he was the main champion of Bahamut.
At one point.
At one point he was. He ascended into like that demigod status to begin with. Or to a paragon. And then he went mad and sided with Vecna because he wanted to be full god. He was power hungry.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So, in time, with this, he made deals, especially like he wanted to take out like Belverix and Porkchop. Because they were like, these guys were the barbarians and the main fighters. If I can get these two to bow down, game over. I got one. And I'm getting Shaitan too, because they were part of the same tribe.
Oh, Shaitan.
Steven's
character. What was funny though, the whole time doing this, Porkchop was fully against it, and then his thing was, I won't harm any of your family. I won't even harm your village if you bow down.
And that was it.
Pretty much, Grievous let out the deal that Porkchop can reign over his kingdom. His people can move there, live in peace. He won't fuck with them at all when Vecna comes down. But when he sounds the call, they come. The whole tribe. And this is pretty much turning into Riddick with the Necromongers. Convert.
It's been a long time since
die.
I watched that one.
Although
Convert or die.
There was another, it was a hiccup, I guess you would call it. He said if you don't heed the call, you cannot interfere. So if you choose not to do anything,
well, no,
that's
if
fine,
he doesn't hear the call, if he doesn't
you
heed the
can't
call,
question.
and or
Destroy
doesn't
that
side,
fucking
he will
everybody.
literally lay waste to everybody at this point in time.
But he showed Porkchop images and like played a little movie in his head of what he would do to his family if he died and stuff like that.
Because at this point in time,
Yeah.
Porkchop had a kid.
Wyndham.
Wyndham.
Oh, I thought.
It was like a 13 or
You might
something.
have another one. You did fuck a
Snake
snake
lady.
god.
And a princess.
But this came down to Porkchop having a kid. Now, like, the newfound dad is coming through because he didn't want to become his dad. So,
Egar.
There became.
so at the
Okay,
end,
all this is starting to
doing-
really make sense now.
so doing this ceremony, this ritual to bring Vecna around,
there was a whole.
he needed living batters to withstand the energy to keep the gate open till Vecna came down. So, what happened was before the Clash of Swords were about to begin, Grievous gave him one final thing: bow or die.
You bowed.
The whole party
Now here's,
bow.
if I
They
may,
had in mind that let's make a ruse out of this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some had fail-safe plans. Those who were there and during the start when this whole ritual spell was being casted, they dipped the fuck out and pretty much start the Rebel Alliance.
Raina pulled a smoke bomb and went.
He also told me that he wouldn't harm anybody in my party.
Now here's a fun
And
quick
that
fact.
turned out to be bullshit.
Well, it was Vecna, right?
It was
he's
for
the-
Chris, but yeah.
God of lies.
But Raina didn't know how
But
to
pork
choose, and so she was able to speak telepathically to people. I think it was a ring or something. She asked her sister. She spoke with her because they couldn't stay together, like they said, stay apart because keys and locks. And she's like, "What would you do?" Like, she's her bigger sister. She always looked up to her. And she's like, if I had to keep my family safe, knowing then they knew that she was pregnant. She's like, if I had to keep my family safe, I would do it. If it meant my family would be safe. So then she was like, I'll still double cross, but sure, we'll bow.
But what it came down to was during that time, during the, when everybody bowed down, Porkchop and Shaitan became judge, jury, and became executioner and herald. Shaitan became the herald of Grievous.
Oh,
Grievous was
Grievous.
the right hand of Vecna. So anytime with Vecna lay command, Grievous followed it. Because Grievous was told that this was the way to godhood.
And just throwing this out there real quick, every time he says Grievous, you can say Sat.
Oh, I know.
Because
they're saying they're
Grievous's full name is Grievous Sattore.
Yeah.
Sattore.
Yeah, I got it.
This. So, during that time of that ritual being casted, Trent pushed Tristana out of the way and became the battery. Tristana, later down the years after this campaign has now ended.
Poor Trent.
Left open-ended because there are batteries still alive. Now that we have the Igor, the dad of Porkchop, who now knowingly knows what happened, is going to try with them jumping through and seeing, the rise of the Ivory Valor and stuff like that being built, decimated the calamity that happened that laid waste to Exandria to begin with. During that time, Tristana gave birth to twins, Lucian and Lucy. Under her mom's tutelage until it became too strong to keep the kids around because they were the sole heirs to Volscaria, because Volscaria was left unattended.
They were also very sought after.
There were still people there. Tinder was still there. But nobody would fuck if Grievous walked up to that place because that was Grievous' kingdom from that point. And his base, or his base of operations, or his headquarters was the Ivory Valley. But Grievous reigned in Volscaria.
The only thing I have a question about is whenever it all ended and it was the Rebels versus these guys, did you guys play it like?
No.
No, we don't.
Oh, you guys
that was
filling
the
in the
open
gaps.
end. Yes, that was
You're
the
filling in
open
the
end.
gaps
Yeah,
now.
that was the open end. So with the end of campaign 1 and starting into campaign 2, the Curse of Strahd. Because it was Halloween, everybody wanted to play a Halloween themed campaign. So Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then that's
I remember when you started.
this is when
behind the
John.
scenes.
This is when John wanted to midway through. It's like, hey, I want to DM a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and this is where we're at now. Me
But
and John,
this is starting to come back full circle.
yes,
to the other
me and
shit.
John. So the 10th door that's boarded up. I'll give you guys a spoiler. The 10th
I don't
door.
want to know. I
The
don't
10th
wanna
door.
know.
Then plug your ears. The 10th door that is boarded up is Exandria. To right that wrong.
Lucy
Knew it.
gets to come home.
That is.
Knew it.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I knew that. honestly.
That is the final door.
That's why. Every
So
time, that's why Igor's so fucking drawn to it.
so when 9 doors are completed, I take over again.
That's cool.
I will
That's
take
fucking
over as
cool.
And
DM.
keep that friend as DM.
That's what I'm about.
You guys will see
It's not
Yerrick return
Oh,
for a little bit,
Pop Pepper.
and then I will play Belvarix.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
Here is how Sat came into being. Porkchop saw this or Igor saw this in a vision. What happened was during that time, Grievous couldn't stay, making sure nobody fucked with the ritual, so he needed the guardian. Belvarix. If I can turn a paladin to Oathbreaker, he has a mini. So every time Grievous went to that site, Belvarix kept on saying no. And pretty much kind of brainwashed Grievous, beat him into submission. They fought all the way toe to toe.
I thought, he used Crown of Madness on...
No, he fought toe to toe.
He beat him
They
with
kept on
a
going.
little.
But Grievous
inch of his life.
had 3 weapons to Belvarix's 1. So Grievous was able to fuck him up constantly beating him
Time and
down.
time and time and time and time again.
To where
For years.
Belvarix was going mad. Like, this was years. This was like, this by that point in time was, 5-6 years of this happening, because this spell took a lot of energy and it fed off the land. So, doing that, making sacrifices to this thing, the spell is still taking effect. Vecna hasn't fully come down. So, during all this time, with blood being shed left and right, Belvarix starting to go mad with the repeatedness. Started saving blood from both sides collectively. Started praying to Bahamut over and over again, please help me. I want this to end. Either kill me or not. And Grievous would never kill him. He would leave him an inch of his life left.
Then he would sleep for 8 hours and he'd be fucking fine again.
So, Grievous or Belvarix, as a last ditch effort, prayed one more time, and the ball of light took shape and went to Volscaria. Hidden in the catacombs was Tristana, the kids, stuff like that. Saturn came. Looked like Grievous to a degree, but not so much. More elven than anything, like when Grievous was the first kid in the beginning, because Grievous was a half-elf in the beginning. Based on the ritual, I made an astral elf, which gave him that ability.
Yeah.
The Starlight Step shit. So, we rolled the dice on how many years has passed since Sat's creation to going everywhere else, like taking Lucy out, making the separation, like with Luke and Leia in Star Wars, to separate the two kids. Under different tutelage of between V, Al, and Tristana, basically. Tristana staying back and trying to do the whole rebel thing, trying to establish a rebellion. Still working out the kinks of it, on who has still survived throughout all this. If Reyna survived, if Hyacinth survived, all that stuff. I'm still going through that in my mind. But 27 years. 27 years have passed. Since Sat's creation to where we're at now. Lucy is 27 years old.
So, I'm just a little bit unclear. How did he become a more divine being, Sat? Like,
Sat
was it Bahamut that?
Bahamut, in the beginning,
Did he reclaim him because he used to be?
He reclaimed him when he was a kid before he went there.
But he pulled.
Because what happened was, Grievous at that point in time in an elven village was an outcast for being a half-elf to begin with. But the leader, the elder, took him in as one of his own, and everybody started to respect him. So in order to respect him, he pulled, he couldn't do magic, he couldn't do this, he was a fucking half-elf.
He was an asshole.
He didn't know anything. So what he did was he went for the biggest weapon, which was a greatsword, and he went into the woods and trained with it to become very proficient in it and become very strong in it. And then, just like any other story time thing, the village was laid to waste. He went back hearing all this, which everybody's kind of backstory of village, a village got destroyed and this is what they're doing. So I did a cookie cutter. I did literally a cookie cutter type thing.
Excuse me, sir. My village got destroyed because I destroyed it.
Well, yes. But
and when I came home, it was gone.
But the thing was, when he came back, this is what his foster dad did show him alchemy. And he did not want to be a paladin at all. He was going straight alchemist, type mage type person.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until that point in time that he used alchemy to bind his father's dying soul into the sword to kind of guide him through.
Okay.
So the repeated times of him growing up, he found, he came across the first temple that caught his eye, and which is Bahamut. I mean, who's gonna fuck with a dragon god?
Right. So it was Bahamut, and then eventually he became enticed by.
So what happened was every time he died, he went mad. He was already a paragon to Bahamut, so he's thinking, why does Bahamut keep on resurrecting him? Like, where's the standpoint? Where's my reward? And he went through, like, a soul-searching journey through this time. And Vecna whispered to him one time,
Of course.
I can get you what you need, but you need to let me out. And so he became an Oathbreaker through 5e mechanics. An Oathbreaker at level 20 starts the journey to Lichdom.
What level is he?
Level 20.
But little did he know the reason why he kept coming back wasn't as God as the damn necklace.
So that's pretty much like how that shit came into being. Is Grievous gone mad, and this is why this happened. So with Satori in this picture, Satori is the good version before this shit went bad. So
but there's still that evil shit all in there.
Correct. During the... Well, no, not anymore.
Well, no.
Throughout Curse of Strahd and, like, Satori coming into the fray a little bit, especially with one-shots, and now, especially with what happened, I had a side notebook. I kept hidden from people. That was like the bars you see in RPG games. The good, the light, or the dark side.
Paragon and Renegade side.
I kept on moving that. So based on certain things, once that was in the picture, for sometimes the Curse of Strahd, some in the world, John, like when we took over and John took over and I became full SAD.
Yeah.
People talking to him. Like Porkchop was the one who befriended him. Or Igor was. That was the spiritual connection of Grievous and Igor. So that was already tipping him to the dark side.
I mean Porkchop.
Oh, Igor.
Igor
was tipping him to the dark side.
Okay.
But with Lucy kind of keeping him in point, he was going back and forth between light and dark. He was staying neutral. And then at that end, with the Abenexus, and he went full, like, Grievous. He pulled that energy.
You know what's funny?
And he scared Lucy away.
Whenever I remember when the Abenexus broke and you absorbed the energy, and
like, what
John
the fuck?
told you that it's the only time since we started playing you look panicked. You look.
See, I was
look
that.
I
panicked.
did, because I was like,
oh,
holy fuck. Because I wanted to do a rule of cool.
Yeah.
That's why I took the greatsword and threw it and used catapult to do it. You can't catapult that stuff.
Yeah.
Or that weapon. So that's what I was doing, and using the momentum of me falling with catapult to become a bullet to kill that beast. And that's when that fissure broke up. Because Bahamut came in to intervene, knowing that he was made for a different purpose.
So
that's when he took that look or appearance of Grievous. And that's when, Lucy got pushed away. During that time, he did that compelled duel with Amari, because he doesn't need another paladin in this mix. He is that paladin. If he can... Same time, Grievous is somewhat puppeteering him, because the connection's still there. Especially with Igor. That spiritual connection is what's keeping Grievous in him. So that's why that compelled duel was there. If I can break Amari to Oathbreaker, I got another me. See, he's repeating the same history again.
I'm getting a very good vibe of just repeating patterns in general.
Yes.
I like Igor's repeating patterns, you're repeating patterns.
And it's becoming full circle because we're adding this into the thing. As these guys, now, like I said, like this isn't like scripted.
Of course.
Guys,
that's the point of D&D.
You guys are telling the story. So when they started doing this, I was like, and I talked to everybody. I talked to Porkchop about this, about Igor.
When did you decide to bring your previous dad in as your character? It was during Course of
Your
Strahd, I
previous
know.
When he got pissed off at being the cleric.
No, whenever my cleric got dead.
Well, of course, but that's besides the point. What I'm saying is, what made you want to bring your missing father back?
He wanted to play another barbarian.
Well, for sure.
And he used a play on words and took rage and spelled it backwards.
Yeah.
Igor.
I know.
But
As
we
soon
were
as I wrote
talking,
it down, I was like,
we were talking about storyline because he was just having trouble creating a backstory for him, and I go, what the? Let's make this connection.
But it made so much sense.
It did.
So what happened was, back then, why his father went missing, his father went to a holy site for his gods, and went into the Odin sleep.
Oh yeah,
He
I'm
is
familiar with
never-
the old Odin sleep.
He has never woken up.
You're still not awake?
Igor is a dream to you guys. You guys just don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's your spoiler.
well, that's
Igor,
cool.
Igor technically doesn't
Spoiler,
exist.
guys.
Igor technically, as of now, does not technically exist. He is a spirit.
You're an astral projection. That's
You're a very lifelike
fucking-
spirit.
But
He's
he's
literally
been
Pike right now.
he's been too far
Less
into
glowy.
it
Yeah.
that he fully materialized into flesh and blood. So now he's trying to find his way back.
Oh, that's so sick. I like it.
He's trying to find his way back, and this is what we came up with storylines, because Porkchop at this point in time got real into the Viking religion, the Viking aspect. So we worked with John, who knows a lot more.
I've
Who also
always,
has-
I've always been into it a lot for years upon years, but it's just one of those things that I just got more.
Oh
involved
yeah,
into
for
it.
sure.
So that's what we did. So we talked to John after this happened, and this is how it came. And Shai did want to play as one of Tristana's kids. And I had the idea of playing Lucian at one point in time. His character's name.
Oh.
So Lucian can join in the fray, but I have ways. bringing
He
him
has
in.
to be played a certain way.
Fuck, Igor was technically supposed to start off as a fucking. Whenever he came into the fray, he was supposed to be a seer. That was it.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until just storyline and him picking stuff and him telling the story is when during Curse of Strahd it kind of went into a little bit of flourishing with not until John's campaign to where that's when Sat came in and told him that he had a kid. Porkchop, because he still has these shared memories. Sat fully remembers everything that happened up to this point. And his past self.
I even confused my own kid to think I was alive.
So, Porkchop Igor is hidden. Where he is, I know.
Yeah.
But you don't.
Not a clue.
That's
He has
fucking
no
great.
idea. I know where he's at, and that's what's going to happen when we, complete John's side of the campaign and go poof and go
Wake
back
up,
into
Sleeping
mine.
Beauty.
So that's full circle. That's the deep lore. Was everything was that's how everything was. That is why Sat's in this. That is why Grievous is still around.
That's why Igor's here.
That's why
he
Sat
is here.
played both things. And it wasn't until that last time, episode 92, Hearts and Mend, when he did that powwow with because you turned your back on him. It was like, here, take these diamonds, go fucking.
Yeah, it was
yourself.
basically
Lucy walked away from him. Amari walked away from him. He pissed Ryu off. The only person that was still on his back was Igor. Literally, the only person on his back was the only connection to Grievous. So Sat was becoming evil. It wasn't until he pulled that talk with Lucy, with you, with Ryu.
Actually, I think it kickstarted with
Amari.
the Christmas episode.
It did.
Yeah.
Because she woke
do
I was
up,
gonna say,
too.
hold up.
So this way you have a humbling.
that Christmas
Episode.
one shot that you did at the end, because I rolled so bad on remembering anything.
No, it was just insight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
was
your
feeling it.
insight
I
was
was
And
shit.
everybody miraculously went over the DC, which was only 15. You know,
But
I figured that
she humbled you with that.
at level
So
level,
we're going off of that.
at level 11, you're rolling halfway decent on your insight, unless you're like you don't put anything into wisdom. You know.
That was
Well, I
episode
didn't need
88.
wisdom. I needed charisma.
Oh
for-
yeah,
for
I
piloting.
understand how that shit
Or,
works.
yeah.
But
So
yeah.
my saving throw for my insight was just low.
Yeah, and you rolled shit too.
I rolled shit. So
You rolled shit a couple times, right?
Yeah.
You rolled like a total of 3 times.
yeah, and I
For
saw
that.
Yeah, because I silver barbed him.
And I
Yeah.
So it wasn't like when Lucy's like was like at the end of your things like Sat wake up. And you said he remembered, and with the role you gave him of being that Overwatch fit because you had no idea of Grievous's backstory,
No.
and Grievous wasn't. Grievous
A watcher.
back then
He
was the Watcher.
Not gonna
So
lie, that whole thing was funny with the cards.
Yeah.
I did talk to John about it.
all that stuff. For a while.
I'm no longer an Oath of Redemption power. I'm not redeeming myself. I made that pact in the open astral sea. I am Oath of the Watchers,
Oh.
which fits what you made me during that Christmas one shot.
That's
being the elf on the shelf
Yeah.
type ordeal. Being the
That's so
Overwatch,
funny when
making
you get
sure
called that.
everybody's in their place. Hey, the kids are coming. Everybody go back to normal. Shit like that. Like that was the whole thing. I was safeguarding the room for Santa. So I changed the oath because it fit more to become Oath of the Watchers.
See, it's just funny that like so many things are playing in line so well.
They're
like the
lining
dominoes
up.
are falling
I like
together so good.
That's
love
like
this
that's the
version.
whole thing. Like the one shot was the tipping skill for Grievous or for Sat, or whether or not he was going to go Grievous or become.
And
Centaur.
that's the thing, viewers. We didn't really think. That's another thing. When you said, I want to roll insight to find out, I had no intention of doing that. I had the intention of this being just a straight up dream that one person had, and that was Tabitha. But whenever you said that, I was like, you know what? That's all right. It was just roll
Well, we
the dice and improvisation at that very moment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like everything's just
We
falling
did-
in a line.
we
so
did
well.
That's definitely a
Like
good story.
I never put thought into befriending Sat because of pork chop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was literally just my personal preference
You guys are the mirror.
to like befriend him, to like keep him like, guys, come on, like give him a fucking chance.
the
blah,
thing
blah,
is,
blah.
Like
Which is
even
out of
that-
character
even,
for you,
Even how
technically.
campaign
Yeah.
one ended, like he wanted to make Egar. He wanted to be the father, the hidden father of Pork Chop, and it didn't make that connection until after he was role playing with Sat, and they becoming like real close friends because Grievous used intimidation of threatening the whole kingdom of his kingdom to keep Pork Chop safe. So knowing that Pork Chop went that way and said yes to protecting it, kind of changed Egar into fixing his son's mistake. So not knowing it, he befriended Sat, not knowing who he was till now. Till that episode.
Yeah.
Till 2 episodes ago, literally
see,
that's what
We've
it
had
was.
a lot. We've had like 3 really super good episodes
Oh, yeah.
back to back to back.
But see, that's the beauty of all of this, as we always say, and even as we've seen Matt Mercer even say, you can come up with a campaign, you can come up with what you want to do, and it could be a long line, a straight line, but it's the players that make the actual story, and it falls
I
into
saw
its own
something
beautiful puzzle.
one of the talking heads on YouTube or whatever. They said whenever you're doing role playing, the characters want to get from A to B as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But you, as a DM, need to put the obstacles in the way.
Correct.
So it starts trickling down and everything.
Well, he said something
And,
before. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
go for it. Yeah.
So Frank said something before about saying like the DM is not the storyteller.
Well, yeah.
We are.
We're the fucking
DM's just a
storyteller.
narrator.
He's just there to be like, hey, this is some shit. And
You're
we're like,
a
oh!
You're a referee. You're a clown. You're you basically are setting things in motion, and you are also very much a part of it whenever you DM, for sure. But
The DM
it's the
sits back,
players
watches
that
the
make
shit
the
show.
real decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, like, we
But that's
always talk, like, we should have filmed campaign one.
We really wish we could.
Because there are so many
We-
moments of
There were so many times I had these guys on the edge of their seat. Battle, climax was coming. Whatever,
yeah.
a plot turn. Like, I
I'm a
had
big
these
fan
guys
of that.
on the edge of their seat.
Hold on.
Going, I want to know what happens next. Like, when I ended the campaign, or when I ended the session, you're like, dude, come on the fuck. Let's play for another hour.
like.
Yeah.
I was
Come
like,
on,
dude,
Frank,
it's
another
al-
half hour.
Like, it's already, like, late. Like, it is now.
Speaking of
Yeah.
that,
Look at
it's
this now.
already late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of that. So, I mean,
Another one I would like to point out is how many times we've pissed this motherfucker off
Oh,
or break
yeah.
him.
there are a lot of times that happened. A lot of times.
If
I
you can
raised
surprise
that
your
bar,
DM,
sir.
If you can surprise your DM, make him think that you're not going to do the thing, but you somehow do the thing, it's a good fucking feeling.
It's
So, like, here, the thing is for this
You guys get the tattoos?
is, you know, this is
That pissed
why
him off bad.
this happened. It all came full circle just by the players making the story. So, what makes a good D&D game, you know, DM tip of the day, or from us to you guys, is
Too early.
let your players run it. You have standpoint to get to the end game. Let them figure out how to get to it. You know, you have the map. You know where they're going to go. You can steer them into those directions. But whatever happens between NPCs or how they unfold as characters with backstories and stuff like that, that makes us so much of a better story than anything else.
You have the foundation mapped out, like your players put down the bricks.
So many good choices or bad choices.
Pretty much.
Like
make
there,
the story.
half the times, like I said, like it wasn't until that Christmas thing, which when he fully became Satori and made that oath in Hearts Amend in episode 92, when he talked, and you guys all agreed to forgive him by cutting, you know, and he did take those slash marks from you guys.
I gave that one little because I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
But still, he
Pretty
took
boy, so pretty.
he took that as, you know, full forgiveness of what his past has done, what he has done. Full forgiveness, and that's what put him into that good side, light side mark. So that's full circle. I mean, I know there's a lot more deep lore that we can go into, so we want to get fully detailed.
Perhaps
That
we'll
will
do
last
another one.
Listen,
fucking forever.
Yeah.
we could talk about the last campaign for days on end.
But for
because-
now, you'll know it as the Lost Campaign.
Let's say
The Lost.
walking into Lost Wars. Now you know some of the inside jokes.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
I'm a little bit more
We
informed.
didn't get Fuck You Henshin or Kruger, but we'll get that on another day. Trust me, I'll tell you.
Or pies.
Oh my god, yes! But we need to do that when Vikings here, so when we do, we'll do possibly our deep dive with you guys on the Lost
Yeah, we have to
Campaign.
have Viking for that one because
That was
that
something Belvarix pulled off to stay hidden from everybody.
He played dumb, literally like, have a seat, you know, and he's
Sat
standing
on
right
the
there, he's
floor.
like,
He sat on the floor. What do you want to eat? I like pies.
What does he want?
Just imagine
Pie!
a big,
Well, you've seen Fire
He
Monkey
can
Forge, right?
tell that story more.
just
than-
imagine a big burly dragonborn playing
but
dumb.
we are approaching our time. We went over it.
We're well over that.
We're well over it. So I hope you guys liked the little deep lore that we put into it to give more of a content of what happened, of what's a preview of kind of like where it's going, like where the end game is going to happen. So we will see you guys next week as we continue our normal. What the hell is it called? What do we call it now? Echoes of
Shadows.
Echoes of Shadows, which is fitting for what we're doing.
The Echoes.
You know, the first world that we did go into, we saw the past.
Right.
We saw what happened. Now you have more content of why.
Oh, I definitely have a lot more knowledge.
And you guys
So-
do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody does too. So that way, when we go deeper into the campaign, approaching the end of the campaign, you'll know basically by the last world that we go to that you guys will see why and how this comes and the end. Now, I do have this. It's not a spoiler. It's a road. Okay. There's a fork in the road by the end of this campaign. There'll be a fork in the road.
Uh-oh.
If you guys do not manage to right a wrong, we will not play Spelljammer.
Oh man.
Because Spelljammer would not exist anymore.
So
If you guys right the wrong, Spelljammer exists.
All right, you're wrong.
noted. Kick pork chop's ass. Gotcha.
Spelljammer
No, we're going
will
to fix
exist.
I wanna go up in space.
I do
I
too.
want
So
space.
there's a little bit of
Awesome,
it.
bro.
There's a little bit of incentive to that because I will put it this down. Session 0 is going to be hell on earth for you guys.
Oh boy.
Good.
I'll put it to you
Let's
this
go.
way: reading Spelljammer. First section of the book, starting out of that book. Session 0, after you make your characters, roll for initiative.
Oh, that's
Session
wonderful.
1 is roll for initiative because you are in a middle of a battle.
That's cool.
You're in the middle of the battle because your captain died.
Your ship's going down.
Your ship's going down. It is up to the recruits, freshly trained out of the academy, to withstand the attack and survive.
Oh.
Whoever-
So we'll be making a new character after we make
So
the character.
whoever does the most, so if you guys survive the battle, whoever dealt the most or is still alive, that person will become the new captain of the crew,
Kirk.
Starship Enterprise.
or the officer, if you want to call it that. So we'll have access to Spelljammer.
I'm gonna definitely
Who will have access to different layouts of the Spelljammer Academy.
I'm going to be a frog.
I'm gonna
No, I'm gonna be a bug, dude. Don't do that.
But the theory that I have is if you guys do right that wrong and spell, we go into Spelljammer. What that will be is pretty much like Enterprise. The ship will go to the uncharted astral sea, which
What about-
is floating, which is like Pandora, the floating trees, the floating forest,
that sounds
and go
Sick.
to and be the discovery
Of a whole new world.
to chart those waters.
Sounds real nerdy to me.
So that's preview of what to come if we do this. If not, I know what other campaign we're going to run in its place.
Oh,
Should also be
Let's
fun.
go.
I want to pay homage to Akron the Cruel,
the cool. Akron the cool, but it's a much different character.
which is Joe Manganiello's character because he's releasing a documentary for the 50 years of Dungeons and Dragons. So I want to pay homage to that and play the Rise of Tiamat.
Rise of Tiamat would be so fucking fun.
So that's, if you guys fail, we're doing the Rise of Tiamat. If you guys pass, Spelljammer.
Let's go.
So there's your preview. There's
That's
your
also going to be
insight.
like 2 years from now. So
Yeah,
Who knows how long this campaign is going to have?
exactly, it's going to be like 2 years from now.
Especially doing Spelljammer, it might last a pretty good long time. But enough of that. We will see you guys next week for Tuesday. Thank you,
Glad we could enlighten you.
Pumpkins,
Thank you, Dummy.
Pumpkins Tea, and Tumblers for creating this magnificent tumbler for the D20 Misfits.
I'm in the
Thank
works
you.
literally right now. I'm getting one.
You guys
I'm working on one
are
as
more
well.
than happy to message them on Facebook to get it in. We'll put it in the description below of going into it. $20 for you guys is $20 all around for a tumbler. Is what
Sorry.
she's gonna do for everybody. That's including any viewer who wants their own personalized D20 Misfits tumbler cup.
Make sure we'll
just
put
let her
that
know.
link in the
You know, if
description
you want a
below.
D20 Misfits tumbler, $20, man. $20. You can have your own little background on the back. You can customize a little bit differently, but you're going to get a D20 Misfit tumbler from her. is showing, this is appreciation for you guys going into there. So I think that's.
Make sure you hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know
Roll
we
for
got a new video.
initiative, and see you next time.
We'll see you guys next week as episode 94 comes over. And I mean, we are 6 episodes away.
93, Frank.
Huh?
Well, this is an
93.
episode.
This is
so,
episode 93.
Oh, okay.
Technically, this is episode 93.
Technically.
This, so next week, next Tuesday, the 30th, will be episode 94. We are 6 weeks away from hitting 100.
Yeah, we're all
We're
good.
gonna do something special for
Happy
everyone.
birthday.
I don't wanna know what
100
happens at
D20
100.
Misfits.
But that's a milestone for us. Thank you guys. Hope you guys like, share, subscribe to our channel. It does help us out tremendously if you guys subscribe to it. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to us as we get that deep lore into what happened between this campaign and last, and kind of fill in those gaps a little bit. So again, have a good
D20
night.
Misfits. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Sorry, wait, lag. Good night.
Yeah.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.
So yeah.
Have a good one. We'll see
Good
you
morning.
guys
I bought a
next week.
Tacture camera.
Don't do that.
Let's try that again there. So, in retrospect of how we always do it, because somebody likes to jump guns and lag,
I do.
from us at the D20 Misfits,
Good night.
Good night.
Listen, that's just my job, man.
I do that every week.
You're a jackass.
I wait for everybody else to say it, then I say it last.
But yeah, we are at 117 subscribers. We
Hell yeah.
counting this video, we'll be at
I was
130.
supposed to be at an hour ago.
We'll be at 130 videos. That's not
That's dope.
including
Yeah.
our.
She's gonna put the D20
We
Misfits
have-
logo.
So, Lost
That's I
Campaign.
just
Lost
sick.
one.
And
Well, obviously,
hand
we're
at the
campaign
end.
because the
Hand it to
campaign
him.
lost. We lost.
Jesus,
We didn't get to
that's
have
pretty
this
nice.
campaign.
That
That part
fits
of the
for pork
campaign.
chop.
The Lost campaign.
Yes.
My,
Is there